Hopefully T's mic's working when he joins.
I don't know.
All right, so did you watch the see our top
I
fives?
did. Yeah, I did watch it.
Any surprises in there for you?
Well, I mean, I knew your list essentially because I know the whole control stuff. I knew some of that, but I mean, I knew Terrell was gonna be Pokemon.
Oh,
I, you know,
I was so disappointed that I did.
I kind of forgot about Fire Emblem, and then
I
I
felt
realized.
like putting it on because me and Retro did their competition there, and I thought about it, and I was like, nope. He told me like in June, he's like, nope, Pokemon won't be on there. Fire Emblem's too good, and he's like, from what I've seen, Pokemon won't be on there. Then his fanboy ass couldn't help himself but put it on.
Yeah, plus lately he was complaining so much about the Pokemon game. I was like, I think he said more good about Fire Emblem. So I was like, there's no way he's gonna put
But then he
Pokemon
put
first.
it 100 hours in fucking Pokemon somehow.
That's like ultimate fanboy bullshit. And see, that's the thing. That's why Pokemon sells. It's the name. It's on top of his list because it's called Pokemon, not even because it's fucking good.
And it was a
Yeah, he
new
also
main
put in
line.
100 hours. Though. I mean, that's a lot of hours.
I mean,
Dude put
yeah.
in a. You could tell the difference between. Well, I mean, you know how he racked up like 100 hours in that, and I don't know how many how many for Dragon Quest, but huge difference. Like he loves
Mm-hmm.
that franchise, man. So I
And
mean,
watching it is like it's one of the worst games to watch for me. Like watching the turn based with like nothing really happening other than the little hop that
yeah,
Oh
characters do.
shit, that irks me, man.
And
Like,
it's just
just
like
yeah.
no.
there's nothing watching Pokemon Sword and Shield's like yeah, it
I
might be
get it.
more fun to play, but watching it to me is like it was one of the worst games I've ever seen like someone stream as far as watching it for entertainment value.
Yeah, I
Kingdom
can
Hearts
get
3
that.
was right there though with that
Really?
Pirates of the Caribbean sequence with that ridiculous the boss fight on the with the
I
ships.
feel like I feel. I mean, again, like
It's
I haven't really.
so simplistic. It was so stupid. What's up, Laker
Okay.
Link? All right, we were just chit chatting while we're waiting for T and Terrell. Get some live viewers in here. So Robert missed last week. You got anything to say for yourself?
Dude,
You missed the
I'm
Game of the
still.
Year podcast.
I know. Dude, again, like it just happened. I have no excuse other than the fact that my own body told me no.
Your body wasn't ready.
It was not ready.
Reggie
But
or ready.
I'm a self promote and say, well, I have my own top 10 video out this week.
See, I don't look at it like self promotion. Like I don't look at it that way because I was in Terrell's stream and I was like, hey, let your audience know that we're doing the top 10 games of the decade because Terrell's in it, and I figured
Yeah.
his audience would want to hear his top 10 games of the decade.
For sure.
And he's like, what's up with the self promotion? I'm like, dude,
What? I think he's
I
always
don't even
fucking
think of
around,
it
though.
that way. And
I
somebody
mean,
else said that once, and I'm like, I think it was in T's last stream. I'm like, I don't think of us as like separate. Like if we're
yeah, no, I know, but I always just say, just to fuck around.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, you guys got some good videos. Feel free. It's not like we.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we don't get the viewers we used to back when the Switch and was coming out. We were getting 2,000 views an episode
Yeah, I mean,
with that Switch hype.
it is what it is.
But we do appreciate the people that do watch every week, and I mean, if it ever got to where like no one was watching, obviously, like probably less than 50 people, I wouldn't do it anymore. Even though we'd still talk, we'd still game and have our game nights, but it'd be hard to do the podcast, with if people just stopped watching us. So
well,
I mean, I don't see
whenever
that
I
as
was
feasible.
whenever I was watching you guys, when I was just listening, I wasn't a part of the crew yet. I was always thinking like, man, I'd love to just be a part of it and bullshit with these guys. I never really thought about the viewership side of it. I just liked messing around.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like. I don't do it for that, but I definitely, as far as like promoting somebody else's video, back in that time when we were hitting our peak, it would have reached a lot more people, So because
Yeah, I get that.
Robert's back in the backlog, it's one of the best series in the video game YouTube community out there, and
I definitely
I
agree.
just
Shit
wish
is so
could
good.
get more
Appreciate it.
people to check them out,
Yeah, appreciate it.
Did
Well,
it? Did you get any
the
new
idea,
people with the Metroid Prime one? Because I know there's some diehard
yeah, I
Metroid
mean,
Prime fans that I tagged in on Twitter.
well, I always try to see like in terms of the first day, the opening day stats. I like
Yeah.
to try to do. It was the largest of them, so I try to eventually just keep growing them by every episode. I've gained new fans every episode, with
Mm-hmm.
those. So and I noticed people go back and watch the other ones, so that's always cool.
Yeah, I
You know.
think it certain games might draw in more interest too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's why it all depends on the game and the timing and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
see.
which games have you done? I'm trying to remember.
Um,
Gears of War,
well, I
Metroid
did
Prime,
Sonic
Xenoblade.
Mania, the first one, then it was Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, then Bully, then Gears of War, then Luigi's Mansion, then Xenoblade, then Metroid Prime.
All right.
That's a lot of games, yo.
Yeah, you've been.
Yeah.
Wait, you did Gears?
Gears of War 1, yeah.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah, because I thought you were telling him that
and Link's
Gears was
Awakening. I did Link's Awakening also.
Oh yeah, I did ask him about
because you
Final
told him
Boss
that
and
Gears.
how bullshit.
Yeah, and that Gears
Yeah.
5 was better. And the first act I was disagreeing with you, but once I got to the more open area in Gears 5, I'm like, yeah, I'd say it's worth playing. But you didn't
I'm
do
almost
Link's Awakening though.
Yeah, well, I'm about like
Okay.
next week. Next
That's
week
right.
is Link's Awakening. Yeah, and I'll be I'm almost done with February's, which I won't say. I'm very close. Like I should finish it by like tomorrow, or the next day.
Yeah, I finished a backlog game. Finished Devil May Cry 5 this weekend.
Nice.
And
All right, is that really a backlog though? I mean, it came out a few.
I mean, it got pushed to the back.
Okay. Well, to be fair, you don't really have a backlog. so you
Gears
can consider it.
5 is on
Yeah.
there. I mean, technically Watch Dogs 2 because I bought it back when ARMS came out.
Okay.
But I have really no interest in ever finishing it because it was just such a GTA clone and like not even. I don't think it did anything better than GTA 5, and I don't even like GTA 5 that much. So
I mean, I remember liking Watch Dogs 1, like fucking around with it, but I just never finished it, so it's also on my
T just
backlog.
finished that.
Yeah,
We
and,
you. And
Nah.
technically, I got a backlog game. It's called Project or Codename Steam. Still haven't
Okay.
opened it.
True.
Bought it day one.
That's definitely one. Wait, you really never opened it yet?
Never opened it. I just like
I
I'll
always-
just wait. Now I wonder if it's worth anything. It's got to be a more
It
kind
honestly
of a rare.
might,
Nah,
'cause I think it's a
You
more
still
rare
pick it
game.
up for really cheap.
Sealed though.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Donnie Arts asked if you beat a game. He must not have been paying attention. So you need to watch his back of the backlog there, Donnie.
Yeah, man. If you,
Robson.
I got 7 episodes so
He's been
far.
pushing through, man. He's played more games last year than any one of us, probably.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's fucking ridiculous. Like old games, new games, this is like hammering them out.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm trying. I want to keep it consistent, so you could always have one a month. I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Have you played any of the Fire Emblem games?
Me?
Yeah.
3 Houses.
Did you beat it?
Not yet. I'm very close.
Okay.
To it. I'm like
Is that the only
4
one?
4 chapters away. Yeah, that's the only one I own. I mean, I
Okay.
have a lot on my wish list that I want to pick up eventually, but I don't own any of the other ones.
All right. Well, since we got decent live viewers and T's in here, Terrell said he's going to be late, but I figured he probably doesn't have too much to say about the first topic anyway. And it's kind of old news, but we had the Game of the Decade podcast and we had the Game of Game of the Year in 2019 podcast. So we have questions built up in the Discord, and also I want to talk about Microsoft or Xbox's forward compatibility strategy they're doing. They just announced, and obviously we'll be talking about exclusives in there, and we might as well talk about Sony has some of their first party exclusives coming to PC apparently, and kind
That's
of
why Terrell's late. You don't want to talk about Microsoft.
yeah, and really like. I watched Digital Foundry kind of had a discussion. They were kind of back and forth on how they felt about the forwards compatibility thing, and I really can't. I don't know how this is gonna go. Like I can't really. It's hard for me to envision like how the reaction is gonna be from everybody. How is it gonna be a positive? Is it gonna be a detriment to the Series X sales? Like, every time I think about it, I have a completely different train of thought. So I'm hoping we can, at least have a decent discussion about that. Because I was asked a guy at work, he's got the Xbox One. I don't know if it's the S or the day one model. And I was like, hey, what do you think about the fact that like the next Halo and Gears and for all these Microsoft vowed will be playable on your Xbox. You don't have to buy the new Series X. And he's like, yeah, I don't care about performance and graphics and stuff. He's like, that's cool. You don't have to buy a new system. And he's a little strapped for cash. So, if he
Here's a hint: neither do most gamers care about that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I asked him because he's not the type to watch a podcast about gaming, but he puts a lot of hours into. He plays like from Farm Simulator to Fallout 76 to Call of Duty, and I forget the other game he plays a lot of. So he's
Good for
not,
him.
he's more of a casual type. But yeah, he thought that was cool, and I'm seeing. Obviously, I watch Next Gen 720's podcast every once in a while, and some of the guys were they're so like I don't know the word for it. They're so like upset
I'm gonna
this,
go in and talk to those guys. They need
that
some
this is
counseling.
happening, and they're like, well, Microsoft they don't care about exclusives and blah blah, and they're just like freaking out about it. Same with Sony and some PC games. But I'm just like thinking about like, what is it really gonna do? Because we've never had this. No, we've had cross-gen games, but we've never had where the next system comes out and that big marquee title at launch is going to be playable on the previous gen. I mean, it's usually the other way. It's usually like, oh, a Halo Infinite started as an Xbox One game. We'll have it day and date on the Series X as a separate game. You could buy one or the other, like Breath of the Wild. And we've never had it where they've done this. So I don't know. What do you guys think, Robert? What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm big on exclusives and why I purchased a console. Like that's pretty big for me, and that's why the Xbox One has been such a huge disappointment for me this whole generation. And for me personally, it's not that it's a I guess a disappointment, but I now realize and I have accepted that Microsoft doesn't really care for you to buy one and just kind of keep it on there, you know. And so like you know what? If that means I don't have to shell out $500, and I could either play it on my Xbox One S that I can maybe play on there or on my PC, you know what? Fuck it. I'm cool with it. I don't have to spend an extra who knows however much they're gonna be costing. And
It
I
won't be
think
cheaper than 500. I don't think there's any way it'll be under 500, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't know. I don't know. Regardless, it'd be some type of money I'll be saving because at this point I just don't. I don't know. I rather not buy another Microsoft console if I know that I'm going to be able to play it on other platforms. To be honest, and so it just that's just kind of how I feel about like if you don't
yeah,
have
I'd
an
be
exclusive,
curious if
no
they
buy for me.
continue the PC crossover thing too.
Well, so far, I mean, Halo Infinite is supposed to be, so it's always about the Windows and stuff. So, I mean, again, like, there's been a good amount of the Microsoft games I just bought through, Windows now. So, I could keep doing that. I'm down for doing that because it works and it's
Yeah, and
perfectly fine.
your laptop definitely better than I'm saying it's probably ahead of the Xbox One X or right there
Yeah,
with or probably
yeah.
pretty even to it.
Yeah. So
Um,
and I heard that well okay to be fair there's all rumors I think where where they said that the least powerful one is gonna be actually less than the X but then the more powerful one's supposed to be like some mega giant
yeah.
double or triple the X or some shit. So that's why like yeah maybe I can't do that but it could definitely be better than the X and still be able to play those games. So and again free online if I want to pick up Halo Infinite. That's the big huge thing for me. So I don't have to pay $60 for Halo Infinite
Yeah, I've
online.
never tested that with cuz Forza added a battle royale mode, Forza Horizon 4,
Did it?
and I turned on my Xbox before I did the Game Pass, Ultimate for $1 for 3 months. And it said, can't access without Xbox Live. I didn't think to turn on my PC and try it through there.
You should because you
So,
could
but now
definitely
I have Xbox Live for 3 months through the dollar, Game Pass for
Okay.
$1. So I had to test that, but
Yeah, I
um,
mean that's why. I mean that's another reason why I think PC is huge. Is again that free online, man. If you, especially nowadays, they're gonna keep adding more and more cross-play stuff. Like to me, it's a no-brainer, especially for me, where it's just like you're gonna be saving again if you're doing 60 a year. That for 6 years, that's $600 you're saving. So it's like, to be honest, like that's a whole nother console you just saved. So I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
I think it's fine.
All right, Mezza T, because last time we did a normal podcast, you and I were kind of in the same boat where you have you have the OG Xbox, which the S that I have has some improvements where it has HDMI 2.0, which can handle like 4K streaming, and then it has a slightly overclocked CPU, so games run just slightly better. But, and I was like, Series X is intriguing because the S is, the multiplats I played on it are definitely less than stellar, performance. It's like the least thing they're worried about is the Xbox One and Xbox One S version of the games. The X gets most of the attention, and I was just like, all right, so Series X. But what is this? Does this change anything for you? You still planning on buying the Series X, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I still plan on getting the Series X because like you said, I have the OG Xbox One, and so it's going to be a huge leap for me.
Oh, geez, yeah.
So that's a cool thing, and my PC, I'm done. I'm done with PC at this point right now. Like it's just, I don't care to upgrade or any of that stuff. I've been reminded why I stopped gaming on my PC, with the issues I'm having. So, yeah, and like in the what do they call it? Forwards compatibility. I think that's smart. How about this? Microsoft is a software company, and they're more interested in selling you their software. So it's right in line with the company has always been, and because outside of Nintendo, most companies don't make much on their hardware. So it seems like they're just wanting to give you a box at least. If you want the premium graphics experience, you can have that. But we're more interested in selling you our games, our software, and our services, and because that can reach beyond their platform. So, business wise, this makes perfect sense. I know there's some gamers who have brand loyalty to Microsoft, who have had it, and they're a little butthurt right now. But don't you have that loyalty because of the games and the services? Like you love Xbox Live, that's not going anywhere. It's still a great service.
I guess some of these people don't even like some of the Xbox exclusives.
Right, like
Well, they definitely.
now you don't like Halo. You're an Xbox fan, and you don't like Halo.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like I
what
don't
I mean.
understand that.
I think there's some people that liked Halo, but 4 and 5 kind of,
Soured.
I can
soured them a
understand
little
that.
bit. And Gears, to me, Gears. I'm guessing Gears 4 I would probably be getting real bored if it plays very similar to the previous ones. And Forza the Horizon series is, now that I'm into the Horizon series with 4 and I played 3 a little bit, like it's definitely a game I'm looking forward to and playing.
Right. Oh my God.
And do I want to play that on my Xbox One S? It should look, it's good. It shouldn't look worse than Horizon 4 because of the way that engine scales. Because even on PC, where I can run it at 1440 at 60 frames per second, or 50
it's
to
a
60,
really well optimized
it's a
game.
really nice looking game. And I'm does it really need to look that much better? But I was looking to buy a graphics card this year. I was going to do it last year, but then I bought a TV instead. And I'm like, based on what everybody's talking about the Series X actual hardware, if I spent $450 on a AMD, what is it, the 5700 XT or whatever, you can get them between $400 and $450. I don't, based on what people are saying, I don't even know if I would be pretty much equal to the Series X or maybe even a little below, because let's just be real. I mean, PC gaming's kind of a crapshoot with depending on the game. Of course, Microsoft's games should be pretty well, but I mean, there's such a variety of graphics cards and stuff. There's always going to be a potential for it to have issues, and like I had a Radeon update that I couldn't play Forza Horizon because it kept crashing because of this fucking driver update.
Right.
And with a dedicated console, they know exactly what they have, and they're gonna push it. And if I'm guessing they're gonna continue the trend of, hey, I want a performance mode, I want 60 frames per second, or hey, I want graphics mode, I want his best looking visuals at 30, type of stuff. And so should I spend 400 to 450 on a graphics card, or put that money in maybe $50 more and have that plug and play console experience? And
For me, gaming on PC always had specific advantages why I like it. There is mods, first of all, but more importantly to me, especially if you like open world games, is console command bullshit. If you get like a game breaking glitch or whatever in a game like Skyrim, for example, on your console, you're fucked. Unless they maybe at some point update it, and you have to be lucky that they update that thing. And on PC, you just open the console command, click, click, boom, problem solved. It's gone. I can continue playing. That's one of the reasons why I like gaming on PC always.
Because the broken games that they sell you may have a fix.
Every game, no, because it will have a fix, because I can control the game inside of it and shit.
Well, I couldn't fix.
That doesn't always happen.
I couldn't fix the idea or the problem I had. I had to wait for Radeon to patch it 2 to 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I guess, but that's not really like an in-game kind of problem. That's really like a hardware problem.
That's a gaming on PC problem. I mean, anybody that had a Radeon graphics card.
Some consoles have shit. Yeah, like Red Ring of Death, that was also a problem and shit. Like, everything has problems, but you can't control your games on console. That's one of the things I liked on PC.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
one of the things
I don't
I
like
Do you
that.
even have the game on PC? Or is it just digital code?
I just don't
I'm
like.
talking
Like, we
about
can
a
get into-
specific game, though. Oh, you mean like that?
Do you actually own it? Because
And that's the thing
not
about this forward compatibility, though. Like, Robert, to play on PC, you have to buy the digital version. You can't go out to the store and buy the physical version and have it play on PC. I'm guessing the disc, no matter, like T, we kind of hinted at in one of the last second of one of the podcasts last 2 weeks. Like, I think it's just gonna say Xbox on the game. Forza Horizon 5 is just gonna say Xbox.
And
you have one disc. And if you have an Xbox One S or X or Series X, that one disc is just gonna play. Because obviously
it's gonna say, maybe on your case it'll say Series X enhanced.
Well, because wouldn't it'd be a Blu-ray disc, so wouldn't it be able to?
Well, they're gonna go to a 100 gig disc, the dual layer, 4-layer, whatever. And I'm guessing the original Xbox will be able to read that. I don't think
the most compelling thing for the Series X for me is, if I ever one day pick it up, it's the fact that you should have backwards compatibility from every generation, including the original.
Well, it does is for games that are already there.
That's what I mean. That's the thing that would get me to be like, you know what? I could put away these consoles. Let me just get a Series X. I could use every console with that one console. You know what I'm saying? That would be for me.
Again, this is not for everybody. You're talking about for you and what works for you and what works for me. Like, this works for me specifically because I have 70 original Xbox games. I have
for sure. 70
Xbox 360 games. I have 35, 40 Xbox One games. So this is perfect for somebody like me. This isn't going to be a thing for everybody where I don't have any investment in Xbox, so I don't care about forwards or backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So
let's just get to a question from Renee that do you think Microsoft wants to get out of the console market and become basically a third party with their software?
I feel like they
already are a third party at this point.
They're definitely like a third-ish party, because you got some games on Switch. They just want you to obviously play wherever you want, and which is, I mean, again, it's a
I'm
cool
kind of
thing when you
surprised
think about it.
I'm kind of surprised they even put in the effort to make the Series X. I almost feel like it's kind of a. I
think it's a good transitional console. I think that's what they made it for.
I'm guessing.
I might be on the other side of you guys, because I just still don't really get it. I feel there's certain things that benefit you if you want to make money. I understand shit like you make a game with Nintendo, so you get Banjo and Smash, or you have like a game Horizon Zero Dawn. You make it also go to Steam. I understand that kind of shit. I feel just Microsoft is spreading itself way too thin. It's like it's like a company's like in a glass of water, but like Microsoft just pouring the glass on the floor and it's spreading like everywhere, and there's like no consistency left. You already have like Ori, Cuphead, Minecraft. Everything is going to Nintendo. You have Banjo now in Smash. Your Cuphead is now in Smash, and then you have the whole console thing, which I just still don't get. You have the Xbox One, and then okay, releasing a new console, but everything before that still works. You got the Xbox One S, okay, but you can play your games on both. It's okay. And you release the Xbox One X. Everything before that still works, but everything next to it also works. So you make a game on the Xbox One, but it also works on the S, it also works on the X, okay. And everything before that. Oh, but here we have the Xbox One X, 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 X. It also works everything before that and everything after. So you have like 4 fucking consoles that are the exact same thing. Just a little bit before that, everything plays on everything. They're spreading themselves so thin that at some point you just have become like fucking Big Ben or whatever third party thing you want to name. Like
Well, I think
I
way
don't
too
understand.
much.
Like I don't understand that thought process from somebody who's in the modern era of everything. Everything you can play. You can watch your television shows on every TV. Your phone, you upgrade that thing every couple years or so. It still plays the old apps and the new apps. Sometimes it doesn't even play the new apps, so you have to upgrade. So in this era, that sounds like some grandpa stuff you're on over there. Like I don't understand that coming from somebody.
You're going mean out to grandpa with that shit, even though you just said, oh, but all your games on Steam, they're not real. It's not there. That's some grandpa level shit too. It's like, you can't advance in one point and not in the other.
Sure, I can say that. If Steam goes away tomorrow, where are your games gonna go?
If Valve gets sued and goes out of business, like I've always thought about that.
How is that grandpa thing? That's
it's like,
logical.
First of all, I highly don't see them going out of business. But I can download all those games on my PC.
Well,
then what happens when you gotta switch your hard drive, or your hard drive dies on you? What do you like?
This is such a hypothetical trade. I don't see what it has
I
to do
would
with
say,
the rest, though.
But what you're saying is hypothetical too.
Yeah, what I think, and Terrell's in here finally.
Yo,
Terrell.
We knew you probably weren't gonna miss, or be mad or sad if you missed this Xbox talk. But the one thing, first of all, do you guys think?
what Xbox talk?
We're just talking about the forwards compatibility, where they said 1 to 2 years. Like any first party games that they release will be playable across all Xboxes. That 1 to 2 years could be one. It could be the first year. We don't know.
And it could be like 6 months.
Or it could be 2 years. It could be 9 months. We don't know.
So is the question just the thoughts on that?
Because it's such a, like I was saying, like it's hard to come up with a thought on it because it's never been attempted. It's never been done. That it's like, will it be the new norm moving forward? Is it going to feel weird when PS5 comes out and doesn't do that? Like is that going to be a strong selling point? Is it going to be just
I don't know if I would view it as a strong selling point, because what it sounds like is more so kind of what games like, I'm trying to think of it, like Persona 5 is like that, where it's on PS3 and PS4, or Breath of the Wild. Like, it's a good crossover game for like the new users to buy into the console quick, but it like I don't know anyone who's like going 1 or 1.5 years into a new console. Like, man, I'm glad that Last of Us 2 also came out on the PS5, even though
the difference between the Xbox though is it's not a separate version of the game. It's
just the same game.
It's just like I said, Forza Horizon 5. You're gonna go buy the disc. And you just put it in whatever Xbox you have, it plays. You don't have to buy a Series X version and then an Xbox One version. It's just, that's why it's unlike anything we've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
And just to let you know, like, that's kind of inside the box thinking. I deal with students all the time, and a lot of them complain, oh man, I wish I had a Switch. I don't have a Switch. I have a Wii U. So they have the last console. They can't afford the next one. Or some of them. I'm just trying to make
one or two probably.
One guy.
Or PS3. I know a kid who has PS3. He wants a PS4. He never, the money wasn't there or whatever. So there are a lot of kids out there, especially, who can't upgrade, who can't get the next console. And I can still play with my friends. I can still play these new games though, on the system I have right now. That's big for a lot of people. So I just wanted to let
Oh,
you know.
I was thinking of it in the opposite way that like, so I don't have to rebuy the same game. Where like, I want a new console, but I don't necessarily want to then because that's the one thing that used to suck is like you buy a new console, but then you got to buy games and controllers for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the advantage here is that if I buy Gears 6 on Xbox 360, or I guess Xbox One, I'll use that as the example. But I buy Gear 6 on Xbox One, and then I buy like Xbox One Series X. I don't have to rebuy the game.
No,
I can just then I can just read.
that's
then
basically what they're.
use the same game.
Or if all you have right now is Xbox One, all you have to do is buy the game.
Yeah,
True.
But you gotta.
I see the advantage to it. It's kind of like an indifference thing with.
I just
me,
don't know
like-
what the disadvantage is. I'm waiting on hearing what the disadvantage.
The one disadvantage some people are maybe potentially could be is that, and this probably won't even happen the first year of the console's life anyway, is that the CPU in the original Xbox was such a bottleneck that, and same with the PS4, like the developers said, and this was in Digital Foundry.
Tablet CPUs.
Yeah, this was Digital Foundry. John Linneman's point. He's like, Horizon Zero Dawn. They wanted to put where you could ride one of the flying creatures or whatever, but it couldn't stream in the world fast enough. That was more of a hard drive issue than anything, but still the CPU does that too, where they actually pulled it from the game. So like, if they're making Horizon Zero Dawn 2, but need it to, let's say they had to have the same philosophy Sony did, then they still wouldn't be able to implement that feature because it needs to work on the base model PS4. And even though the PS5 has this 40 times speed solid state drives and way superior CPU, it would be the game devs would actually have to limit their aspirations for the game to make sure it worked on the old system. So it would basically be like porting a game to Switch.
Maybe they, instead of limiting themselves on gameplay, maybe we should cut them graphics back a little bit. Everything don't have to look like dolls.
That's true.
Like you could have had a really cool looking game on top of adding the stuff that you wanted to have. So,
but it's just one example where the
I'm just saying. I know what you're saying.
I don't know. Halo
That's
Infinite obviously started development years ago, and it's just going to be like the Xbox One S version is probably going to run 720p 30 or something, but and then they can just add a bunch of like lighting and effects that isn't going to be as next gen, I guess, if you want to use it as make it. I don't know if that's a noun or whatever. Make it as next gen, whereas building a game from the ground up, not having to worry about the previous gen's limitations, you're obviously gonna in year 3 you're gonna see games that look vastly better than Halo Infinite looked because it technically was being
But you know why that's okay? That's cool because that's around the time most people start buying that new console.
Yeah, and that's the time that
unlike us, who are day one. Most people don't do that. Most people wait a couple years before they buy the new console.
So I mean,
that's why the PS4 still sells.
Right.
Yeah, and we said this. I said this. Like, I don't think the PS5 needs to come out in 2020. I think 2021 would have been the better time because they still have.
It's just they got games. They still got Ghost of Tsushima, Dreams, and Last of Us all this year.
Plus, the third-party games are still coming out. I mean, just look at my game of the year, Resident Evil 2. I just finished Devil May Cry 5, and compare those visuals, especially the character models, to like first year or two of the PS4. It's not even close. Like, it's almost like a new generation just in the improvement to the graphics engine. I mean, Infinite Second Son looked pretty good, but if you look at that, like the facial animation and just detail, the character models and stuff, compared to like Devil May Cry 5, it's like.
It's a big leap.
It's a huge leap. So that's going to happen anyway. So
Short become human? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. So
goodness.
So anyway, the first 2 years of a system doesn't get the flagship titles anyway as far as like visuals and stuff. They don't really start hitting that stride till year 3. Like Uncharted 4 was like the first PS4 game. So I think it's smart. It's an interesting idea. But the other thing is, does it matter to the guys that are the day one console buyers anyway? Do they care? Are they going to not buy that Series X because they can play Halo Infinite on their Xbox One S. Like,
Well, I think for them, like honestly, like it. I mean, in my perspective, I'd be
The
like,
bragging rights.
it's just almost bragging rights because at that point, it's like, I mean, unless you care that much about the graphics, man, like you can again, like there's
well, I
no
mean, how
real
many of
reason
us
to rush
bought?
it out.
How many of us bought Breath of the Wild on the Switch when we could have just played it on the Wii U and waited to get the Switch till more games
I mean,
came
yeah,
out?
but it's different, you know.
It's
Switch,
different.
I was able to play it on
Well,
a plane
Switch
in
is
Boston. You know what I'm
it's a
saying?
Yeah.
hardware thing, right? That's also the
It's a
hardware
huge
gimmick.
difference. It's a massive difference. One is again a damn portable console. Like that's a huge
Right.
difference. And again that same day you still had fast RMX and snipper clips and
That wouldn't
you
have
know,
been enough.
No, trust me. If Breath of the Wild didn't
it's
come
still
to the
it's
Switch,
still an added bonus. Still an added bonus.
Yeah.
That's
if Breath of the
fun,
Wild
you know?
wasn't there, I wouldn't have bought a Switch till
I wouldn't
Odyssey
have bought
came
it.
out.
I think I would have probably waited too. If Switch was a box that just sat there, a traditional box, I wouldn't have got it day one. I'll tell you that. It'd have been the first Nintendo console I didn't buy day one.
Yeah, when you think about it, that might have been the same with me too.
The
Because
Joy Cons and all
yeah,
that,
at the same
the
time,
excitement is
yeah.
what.
Again,
That's the only reason why Nintendo consoles are the reason why I buy them day one
exactly, and that's
because of
why.
how Nintendo approaches their console design. But go ahead, Robert.
Right.
And that's personally why, like you know, the Series X, I kind of find so odd that it's just like it's the fucking most boring console so far, and it's like, and so far there's been nothing there that's been like exciting, and I would argue, I think that I feel the world feels the same in a way where I don't right now I haven't heard anyone talk. I always hear about the PS5 right now. So far, I hear more people talk about PS5, but like even though we don't know anything about it. But you know, I think it's just because Sony probably is the bigger
There's just
fan
more
base.
fans. There's
Yeah,
more
it's just
Sony fans out there
more
to begin
fans.
with.
Yeah,
we might as well
more
throw
fans.
in the old the might as well throw in the discussion that apparently Horizon Zero Dawn, that one seems almost confirmed, and then there's a LinkedIn, is it LinkedIn where somebody found they're looking for a programmer or something who has experience with NVIDIA and PC stuff, and it was Naughty Dog.
I don't think that means that it's gonna go to PC though.
That means they're developing on it. I don't know
Well,
what that
I
means.
mean, the PS5 doesn't use NVIDIA, so I don't know. That's just what
Yeah, that's
people
cool
are
to
kind of
get it
thinking.
to Switch. Imagine.
But
I mean, right now it's just
Or
a
maybe
rumor.
yeah,
It's in rumor
it's a
mill.
rumor.
But
I think the more interesting discussion is what kind of came out of hearing that, which was the whole. I think just did the opinions of that on Saturday.
it was Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, because to me, like, I'll just make these points and I'll get your guys' thoughts. The PC community, like the PC only guys, they don't give a shit about. They're never gonna buy a PS4 or 5. A guy at work, he plays World of Warcraft, he plays Overwatch, and a few other PC only games, you know. And I was like, dude, would you ever consider buying a Switch or a PS5? Hell, no. I was like, but you're pretty decent at Smash, wouldn't you want to play? I'm not gonna spend $300 to play one game. And I said, well, would you play? Would you consider getting a PlayStation? He's like, no. He's like, I'm not gonna play it. I was like, well, what happens if one of their best games came to PC? He's like, yeah, I mean, on a Steam sale or something. He's like, I'd probably check it out if it looked like a game I'm interested in. So that's just one mindset. The other part of this is, and a lot of people are ignoring this fact, especially the Sony fans that are really butthurt. What was the top 10 games of the decade, like sales wise? I mean, it was your GTA, Call of Duties, Red Dead Redemption 2.
But hey, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild was on there, but every one of
Those were
those
the
games,
yeah,
except for the 2 Nintendo games, are available on PC day one. Like, I know it's a multi-plat, but they're available on PC day one. But they're still hitting 20 million plus sales on the consoles.
yeah.
So for me, if especially Horizon 3 years later comes to PC, or The Last of Us comes down the road, maybe later this year, end of this year, next year, it doesn't really change anything because all these big console games anyway are always on PC, and the PC market isn't that big for these types of games. I mean, I don't think it would even make a dent of. I mean, it'd be in the tens of thousands maybe of people that would not buy the PS5 because they can get The Last of Us 2 on their PC, but I think it's such a small margin, and the PC is just such a it stands on its own. It's not part of. I mean, it's a really distinct crowd that games only on PC, and I just don't think it would make that much impact if even if Last of Us Part 2 came out in the same year on PC. Like Death Stranding's coming out, Detroit Become Human, and a bunch of games have already come out to PC, I think, on the Epic Store, and it doesn't even register on the sales charts or anything. So
right, like is your enjoyment of what's the game?
Horizon?
The Square game. No, the Square game. The
Octopath.
Octopath. Is Octopath like lesser now because it's on PC? Like I would still rather play it on my Switch.
And I doubt anybody on PC really bought the
that's
game.
not gonna move me. Like even if Nintendo decided to, I'm gonna put everything. We're gonna put everything. Like I don't care. I want to play on the console. Like so, it doesn't matter to me, and it's not gonna matter to most of these people. This is just a talking point for fan bases to go after each other. You know, Xbox and Sony guys basically to go after each other. Oh, your games are, they're not exclusive. Yeah, do you have a PC? No, then shut the fuck up.
And
like a lot of dudes don't even have a PC to begin with. So how are you even talking about this is gonna, take away from?
There was a Sony fan who's like, "Oh, what's the new head guy's name? Larry or something of Sony?
I don't know. I'm
I
not
forget
sure.
his name. He's like,
He used to be in charge before or something.
He's like-
he was.
he's me and my boys. We're gonna shank this motherfucker if he brings games to PC." Or this guy's like, "I'm literally." He says, "I'm
What?
done." This dude says, "I'm done with gaming if The Last of Us Part 2 comes to PC." Like, who? What are you? Why do you care?
Why do you care?
Okay, now
Anyway,
I don't agree with that narrative completely, but I want to explain my position. Third-party games, to me, it was never that's something I genuinely don't care about, because third-party games don't have an inherent home anyway. They literally are the games that can be anywhere. So third-party games doesn't really matter to me. Square, Capcom, all that other shit, I don't really care where it's at. For me, it's more of the issue that it was a first-party title. And the reason why, and I actually clocked it, did a video on this last night, and I watched that, and that was really good. I actually agree with his thought process, is that for first-party titles, exclusives are the reason why you buy that console. Now, if it gets ported later, it doesn't really mean as much. And as a consumer, at the end of the day, the consumer has no reason to give a fuck. Okay. But because I'm a person who's interested in gaming, in the journalism, and the news, and the industry in general, I also recognize that there is no inherent. It devalues the brand of a console manufacturer like Sony, Microsoft, PlayStation. It hurts that brand. Now, like I said, as a consumer, it doesn't fucking matter. But I'm saying, like, if Mario Odyssey, when it launched, came out on PC, there is less reason to buy that on console. Well, Nintendo's kind of different because of their console, because they're more of a different with their console. Which I would say for Sony and Microsoft, Sony and Microsoft, it's way worse because their consoles are so like PCs and there's nothing making them unique. Like, I think it's more of a detriment to them than it is to Nintendo, because Nintendo at least can still offer unique experiences you can't get on a PC. So like if you release Last of Us 2, right? Let's say that came out on PC. I think that's a way bigger deal than fucking like releasing Breath of the Wild 2 on PC. I would rather neither of those things happen, in the sense of like, because I still think it devalues the console's worth. Because there's a reason why you have exclusive content in the first place, to get you to buy that specific box.
Yeah,
but I also recognize.
I think
you buy that box for the game, though. Like that's the biggest. Yeah, like
well,
that's the biggest reason.
The box for the game because it's only.
I mean, that's why I brought up how.
Exists, are you going to be upset? The game is still there. Like I don't understand.
I mean, well, again, I'm upset that I bought a fucking Xbox.
Yeah,
One.
if you bought let's say you
that's
bought.
That's because you didn't know this was happening beforehand.
Yeah. Let's say you bought an Xbox or whatever, and later all their games came, and you actually have a PC, but most of these dudes don't have a PC, so it's not going to affect them one bit.
That's why I brought up the impact to the lack thereof of all the top games.
Yeah,
it wasn't just as. I mean, yeah, they don't have they're not a first party platform, but the PC version doesn't take away from GTA 5 selling 30 million copies on the PS4.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I don't have that same argument for third party titles.
So I don't think it's going to really stop people.
I think it's more of an issue
for.
I think it's more of an issue for first party than it is for third party, because third party aren't relegated to a home to begin with. Those games
but
can
like
literally.
I said, I was just using an example that PC gamers don't really buy those games anyway. So I don't think it's gonna affect.
I guess my main thing is that PC as an overall platform is become the only thing it doesn't have over like console gaming is those unique console experiences and like a lot of physical media. Like those are like the two issues.
Well, PC has their unique experiences too.
Oh yeah, but
Consoles can't do.
I'm saying like most people, if they thought like realistically, I guess here's the question: if all of PlayStation's games were coming out, all their first party titles were coming out day and date on the PC, would you still buy a PlayStation 5?
I would, because I don't want to play all these games on my PC.
See, at that point, I wouldn't. There would be no point.
I wouldn't.
Well, you're
There's
playing.
there's no value.
You're not getting a different experience because you're playing your PlayStation and your PC on the same monitor and the same experience. For me,
And same. I play it on my TV, my PC game. So,
but let's be real, Robert. When the PS5 and Xbox Series One come out, and a couple years down the road, your 1070 laptop version isn't gonna really do much for these games. You're gonna be struggling to hit decent frame rates and stuff, kind of like I am with my card that's now 3 years old. Like I'm struggling to hit. I got to put it down to 1080, which put it down, But you're gonna have a 4K TV, and these games are gonna be pretty demanding. You're gonna either have to upgrade your laptop, which would be about based on what you get, will probably be 3 times the cost of an Xbox Series X or a PS5. So that's kind of down the road.
I guess the argument.
I thought about. I want to try to get an actual PC, not like a. What's it called? A laptop anymore?
Yeah. If you had a desktop.
Well, I was saying.
I didn't know you didn't have. I thought you had a desktop.
He has a laptop. He bought a beast laptop, but still laptop parts.
I guess my argument with that is that I view upgrading the PC as a better investment than buying a box.
Again, at the end of the day, I always argue for that free online.
That's definitely
we always say
it's not even.
But we don't know how Sony's gonna handle if it's an online game, multiplayer game, how they would.
Well,
handle
that's true. We don't know.
Because like for instance, again, if the more crossplay, those Modern Warfare fucks buying on console, huh?
Modern Warfare fucks. Jesus Christ.
For free.
I think
again, that's potentially is like depending on the console generation, $600 plus $600 for the console or $500. That's already over $1,000 something.
Yeah, you take that into account if you're one of those that pays
literally
for the
into
online
account.
But I've had my PS4 for longer than my Switch, and I haven't had PS Plus once, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So,
Well, it also depends on the kind of gamer you are.
But the other thing too is we haven't really been. We mentioned a little bit. Let's talk about the driver updates and stuff. But you plug in your PlayStation 5, your Series X, one HDMI cord, you plug in the power cord, and you're good to go. I mean, obviously you download the updates. You gotta log into your account once you get that set. Like you're talking about upgrading. You'd rather upgrade your PC, but I mean, I bought my graphics card in 2016, so it's now almost 4 years old.
Right.
But I'm really been pushing it like further than I should. I mean, like I said, I gotta get the games down to 1080 to try to hit 60 with like Hellblade or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it wasn't Shadow of the Tomb Raider is more like 45 frames per second, so I'm definitely past the point most people would upgrade. And with a console, I mean, this generation, it's already going to be 7 years, and I can't believe it went that fast. The previous one went for like 9 or 8. So you don't have to upgrade, and if you have an Xbox One X, the one positive getting back to Microsoft, people are like, oh, what, I wasted my money. Well, if you picked one up on Black Friday for $350 with one of the whatever game you got, whatever version you got, you're gonna be. I mean, you could wait 2-3 years probably until Microsoft stops bringing their first party games. The one thing we didn't talk about too is what is third party gonna do is I think
they're going to stick around for a while.
I know Ubisoft said that Watch Dogs, whatever it's called, Legion, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Legion.
They said that, and I don't know if this could change, and I don't remember exactly who said it. I think it was around E3 or slightly or after there. They were like, we're already building in like the support for the PS5. We're already developing it into the game. And with the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, we already got the enhanced, where they added, basically took advantage of the consoles without having to buy a different version. If third parties continue that and don't do what they're probably going to do and try to resell you, let's say Watch Dogs Legion, I don't know if it got delayed. Was that coming out in like March or April or something? Maybe it's gotten delayed. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it getting delayed. But
If they don't do what third parties tend to do, and they just upgrade, free update anyone who bought the game for PS5 and Xbox Series X, and you get a free update to take full advantage of the system as much as they can with an update, without having a brand new game engine. That would be huge, because look what they just did this generation with. Yeah, they had a few games the first year where you could pay $10 or whatever and get the upgrade, the digital. You could still put in your 360 and PS3 disc, but get the PS4, Xbox One version if you paid like an additional $10 on top of the game was 60. If they do basically free updates, you bought the game and it supported PS5 and Xbox Series X, that would be pretty huge. That would take backwards compatibility to a whole new level. And I don't know that they're going to do that, but
they've been doing it for years on PC already. Like, they have to make games that will scale.
Yeah.
And only when they come to the consoles, they got to do the closed system thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's going to be a different thing.
And the truth,
so now, with something like a Series X, they don't have to worry about that. They still can make games to scale.
It'll be them catching up to a feature that PC owners have had for.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Years. And I guess my point, more so, just getting real quick, just to mention, is that like at this point, unless the console gets more like console exclusive experiences, all the same shit. I'm like, because the whole PC building process or buying a pre-built PC, that's like a one-time thing. The most you might ever have to do in the future is obviously you update drivers, which really isn't an issue, and then maybe switching out a graphics card. Because I know Juice brought the point earlier that like because of how long it take to switch from one generation to the next, it'd probably be that's a pro against for consoles, but like you can play all these games at lower settings. They may not run the best, but you're still it's still an option you have.
It's an option.
And that's if you just don't have the money to upgrade.
But also,
Switch technically has scalable games. Like like even like The Witcher. Like you can make The Witcher look better on your Switch if you overclock the system. So this is stuff that is baked into a lot of games already.
So I hope that's what they do, because this PS4 Xbox One generation, a lot of people, and I think even Terrell said in his video incorrectly that the first 2 years Sony and Microsoft ported a bunch of remasters and stuff, and really it was
I was wrong about Sony.
It was like
doing,
Sony did God of War 3.
Yeah.
They did the Nathan Drake collection, and then they did the Beyond Souls or whatever double pack. That was it. They didn't bring any other PS3 games other than some indie games came over like Journey and stuff.
Yeah, the PS3 did that way more.
PS3.
But the third parties brought about, I want to say, like 50 to 70% of last gen's games to this gen. I mean, you just look at Capcom with all the Resident Evil games. Look at the Saints Row and Dark Souls 2, and
they're a little different because they're TSQ is, or TSQ Nordic, I should say.
But I mean,
they're a new upstart basically, and they're trying to make money. they're
trying to get their foot in the door.
This generation was third parties doing what Nintendo's. I complain about Nintendo doing with their games. Is it's just like open season on bringing definitive editions and stuff of last gen games and charging full price for them. Again,
and fans wanting them a lot. You see it all the time. Oh, I wish they'd bring this remaster or that.
But see, at least for like Nintendo Switch, it makes sense because of the nature of the system.
Yeah, and the Nintendo Switch architecture, just like the PS4, Xbox One, they're completely different architecture from the previous generation, where they literally have to go in, and it's bringing a game from PS3 to PS4 is probably not much different as far as you actually have to port the code to this new architecture to like bringing it to the Switch, other than the graphical sacrifices. So this will be the first true next gen where it's the exact same architecture for two of the major console. They've never had just the exact same architecture from one gen to the next. So that's another reason why we're seeing this forward compatibility, and hopefully third parties, instead of reselling you the game, you just get an enhancement download for the new systems. And I mean, for gamers, that's huge. You don't have to rebuy these games, and I don't think anyone's even going to try. Man, I bet you some third parties will try, some like PS5 box version of a game that came out, in the last few years, like Star Wars Fallen Order, PS5 or something. Maybe. But
did Richard go to sleep? I haven't heard.
He's been in the chat.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm surprised. I'm curious if you have any comments, man. You've been quiet over there.
No, I've been saying stuff earlier. That depends specifically what you mean. On what?
Just on that whole process of how you feel about like first party Sony or Microsoft games coming to PC, and then that narrative in general.
I said earlier, like, I'm always the kind of guy who says the reason you buy a console is for the exclusives. If there's no exclusive on a console, then why buy it? But then again, Xbox has been selling quite a lot, and let's face it, they're basically third party at this point. I feel that it's always an interesting, like that when the Sony, for example, when Nintendo, they had Octopath Traveler, and it went to Steam, I wasn't mad. I was like, good, because, well, in this case, it's Square. But let's say Nintendo does it fucking Mario Odyssey. The game is already old. Nintendo puts it on Steam. I'm like, good. Even if it just gets like 100K sales, it's money in the bank for Nintendo. They can put towards more games again. As long as it brings Nintendo money, I don't see the point in complaining about it, really. But if every next upcoming Nintendo game is gonna come to Steam, then it's like you said earlier, the Switch brings something. If the next Nintendo system doesn't bring something, then what's the point? Because I already use, for example, my Switch Pro controller on Steam. So it's not like, oh, I need the system for the controller. Like, that doesn't matter, So that's why I said there has to be something you can get out of the console. But as long as I have a reason to buy a Nintendo console, like, I don't really care, I think Ju said it last time, if you have games that are like 2 or 3 years old, like whatever, put it on Steam, put it wherever you want it, It's like I said, it brings the companies more. I guess Microsoft got really desperate. That's why everything went to Switch, because they really needed money because nothing was selling in Japan and shit. That's like the whole other extreme. But no, when like Sony releases like Zero Dawn on Steam, I'm like, good. They're using a way to get more money. That's obviously the reason why Banjo is also on fucking Smash. I mean, yeah, it's great for Nintendo fans. Microsoft is getting shit out of that,
You said they are or they aren't?
Towards the future.
I think he said they are.
Yeah, because I've heard people say...
Yeah, they are. Of course they are.
Well, yeah, I agree. But I've heard people say they aren't. They don't. What are they getting out of the deal? All these games, all these Microsoft games going to Nintendo. I'm like,
they're getting money off of them.
They're getting money. One, two, they're planting little seeds. Oh, you guys really like Banjo? Maybe a Banjo game comes up, and then it's like, hey,
it's obviously mutually beneficial. That shit,
right?
And
it's obvious that they have some kind of contract. I'm saying shit out of thin air, but it's obviously they have something. Okay, every Banjo that sells for $6, we get $1. Obviously, it's going to be some shit like that that's going on.
They get a cut, yeah.
And just a funny comment. Ipsers, didn't Nintendo put Devil's Third on PC? Wasn't it just the multiplayer?
Well, I think that was
multiplayer. Like I said,
just put the multiplayer on.
Yeah,
multiplayer. I don't really care.
I mean, if it got to the point where, and again, most people don't have. I mean, I would say out of the 100 million PS4, 106 million PS4 owners or sales out there, I'd be shocked if even 10% of those people had a PC that's going to be on par, close to PS5 specs. So I just don't think that whole, like, if those games, it's still, as long as it's on PC, I mean, technically not a complete exclusive, but still a reason to buy the PlayStation 5 to play. I mean, what would Horizon Zero Dawn 2, if you love Horizon Zero Dawn and you want to play it, unless it's day and date, I don't think it's ever
Well, that's my point.
I don't think it's going to be day and date.
If it was day and date, why would you buy the PlayStation 5?
If it was day and date and you have a PC that could run it in a decent enough.
By the way, install bases are deceptive as hell to begin with.
That is
Especially
true.
when
That's
you
very
have
true.
systems that have multiple versions, like an Xbox. Well, I have the old, VCR one, but I bet most people have a S.
Or
But you
that,
know
yeah.
what? A lot of those people who had the VCR one say, "I'm gonna go get an S because that looks better and it runs better." And but that's still one sale. So people are looking at that as
Yeah, how many
those are
million?
different users. That's one sale.
How many million
know?
you think are sitting in GameStops
How many
across the country?
PS4s? Yeah, PS4 sold 4 million. You said.
Yeah, something. Like that.
Those aren't 104 million different people. Those are people who said, "Oh, I went out and bought the original one, but I like that slim. Oh, look at this PS4 Pro." Some of these are the same people buying in multiple consoles. We do it like,
but I don't think.
And that's the thing with Microsoft. They're like, we don't just want to have that selling to that fake install base. We want to sell
That's
to
why we
everybody's
also
install base.
that's also why we used to say the thing during the Wii U era when Nintendo was like, we sold, I don't know, 20 million copies of Mario Kart. And then Microsoft would say, oh, we shipped 10 million copies of Halo. Yeah, you
Right.
didn't sell 10 million copies of Halo. Like, you always have to be like, that's a nuance shit. You have to take it into account.
Especially
They're
if
in
those,
stores.
yeah, if those games get a drop in price, then I think the stores or Microsoft eats some of the cost.
No.
The loss,
Actually,
don't
the store eats it because they buy
Yeah, the store is the cost.
Well, what if
They
it's-
buy it
Because the store's buying it from
what if
Microsoft.
What if it's Sony or Microsoft pushing for the price drop though? I don't see how the stores.
I don't
would
think
be
they
forced.
can usually.
Because they
That's why we
dictate the
use just like
price.
recommended the retail price. Like the companies, let's say Nintendo sells Mario for like $20 to GameStop, and then GameStop they're like, oh well, usually games sell on 60 because they need to make a specific amount of profit. But GameStop can still be like, nah, man, we're gonna charge 80 for this shit. But then obviously everybody's gonna go to fucking like Walmart.
Exactly. I was gonna say Walmart is the prime example, where they have games that are $10 cheaper than everything else. That's not Sony saying, "Hey."
That's true. That's definitely
Walmart saying, "Hey, we got our games cheaper. We want more customers to come to us. So here's $10 off your game purchases."
Yeah, and some companies like Walmart, for example, they can do that because maybe they buy an even bigger bulk, so then they pay a little bit less,
The suggested retail price isn't how much the game costs them. They get a certain amount because of the suggested retail price. They get the profit as well. Now it may not be much. If you look at like movies, movie theaters get jacked by the Hollywood, and that's why popcorn and shit is so expensive because they don't make any money off the damn movies.
Yeah.
People get all upset at the movie theater. You want to get mad at somebody, get mad at Hollywood because they don't help these theaters out at all. So it's not the theater's fault that popcorn is $10 and shit.
The bottom line for me is simple. Like what Ipster said that earlier in the chat. Like, if Mario comes to like the PlayStation 5, I'm now playing Mario again. I'm thinking if Nintendo needs to put Mario on PlayStation 5 so that we can get Mario 2 later on, I want to play Mario 2. Put that shit on PlayStation. I don't care.
Yeah, but see,
that.
To me, that's a problem in its own right because that implies that like that what they're currently doing isn't making enough money on their system.
Right.
And
but did you hear what Director Jeff just said? The key word he just said.
What?
Need.
Yeah, if they needed to.
Nintendo doesn't need to put Smash on anything. Smash is 20 million seller. It's going to be 20 million.
And that brings up
need to
real
do
quick.
it.
I did want to bring up something because I was watching one of Dr. Trey's videos that he made on it, and there was an idea that I'm curious about. You think part of the reason why this stuff might happen more frequently is because these games aren't making enough to recoup?
Exactly.
Yeah, because the more like we talk about I was talking about how good Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, how much better they look than the early generation games. They also cost developing that game engine. Like they probably have to put it in dozens of games to really start getting full profit.
To justify the money they spend on it.
The R&D into that. Like you want to talk about making The Last of Us. I don't know what The Last of Us Part 1 cost, but Part 2, I wouldn't be shocked if it was double. If it was $100+ million to develop that game.
And you look over at Nintendo, and their development cost is probably somewhere around what they.
That's why it always kills me when people talk down about the sales of like, oh well, God of War sold such and such. Well, Nintendo spent less to make Mario Kart,
way less,
and sold just as much, if not more.
Well, so double, and
Well,
you
I know.
a way
I'm
smaller
just
install
saying.
base,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making. Like,
Yeah.
there's I think people forget that. Like, because let's be real here. Would Sony just want a portion of the profits that they're gonna get from putting it on PC, or would they want all of the profits?
And we don't
From
know how
selling
they're
it on their
releasing
own
it. Will
console.
it be on Epic or will it be their own launcher where they can make all the profit?
Well, yeah, but
you
I'm
know?
just saying, like, theoretically, if it's something like how Xbox just releases the game on Steam and they don't have like a proprietary launcher,
Mhm.
even though you could buy it through the Microsoft Store, that means Microsoft still has to. Well, I guess in that situation, that's not.
Well, not
the
every
same
game's
thing.
on Steam though. Like Gears
Yeah.
5 is, but I don't, Forza Horizon 4 is only on Windows 10.
On
But
Windows
like
10,
you,
right.
you have to give money to every every retail that sells that game.
Well, here's I guess my final thought on Sony bringing. I plan on continuing to be a console gamer. I've decided not to upgrade anytime soon my graphics card. I mean, Rocket League plays just fine, and that's the only thing I'm even concerned about at this point. I want that plug that box in to my TV that I bought specifically. The version I bought was because it's forward compatible with HDMI 2.1. I know I'm going to be able to get all the features out of the next gen consoles. I'm going to have a box no matter what. So, you know, that doesn't change anything for me. And if Sony needs to put The Last of Us Part 2 on PC, needs to put Death Stranding on PC to be able to continue to put these huge budgets into some pretty quality games over the last few years. I mean, you guys a couple of years loved Spider-Man. I'm sure that wasn't cheap. RetroDesk loving Days Gone, and that didn't blow the sales charts off. I doubt that was even profitable as long as that was
But
in
I bet
development.
it was expensive to make still.
Yeah, if they put that on PC and it did really well and it did enough to justify a sequel or another game for that studio, I just see that only as a positive. And
Yeah.
like, and we talk
So-
about.
I was like at
I just want
the
to say, like,
second.
Nintendo, you don't have to really worry about them because we just said
Yeah,
Nintendo
Nintendo's
games
chilling.
sell. First of all, their budgets are really low, and their games are really high-selling games on one platform.
Yeah.
They don't need to do this. So the worry about Nintendo doing what these guys are doing is not nearly there for me.
It's way more concerned. Like, remember back, and I always bring this up, but I remember back when the Tomb Raider reboot started, and the first game came out, and it sold like 3 million, and most of us went, "Oh shit, 3 million, that's great." And Square was like, "That's not enough."
No,
you were like, "What?"
And they didn't get a lot better with the other ones either. I don't think.
Nope.
No,
Sales
because
didn't really change.
it got ported. Because I think it got ported to PC. Then you got the definitive edition that came out, and then that's when Rise came out, and it was exclusive to Microsoft for what, like a year, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
compared to
that didn't help
PS4, but PC came out like 2 months later because they realized they needed it, and it was on 360 as well.
Yeah, it was on 360. That was So like it needed the money, and to me at that point that's more telling than anything. That like if you want to question whether or not we're getting closer to like a gaming crash of any sort, it's that kind of shit that's more concerning than anything else. The fact that like now you got notoriously like first party exclusive titles that are like owned by the company or the console manufacturer jumping to like the PC to start with. Like that makes me a little concerned. Like maybe you spending too much on these fucking graphic engines. But the problem is that's the narrative Sony's been pushing for like especially the last 2 generations. And I'm like,
that's the advantage they've had. So they're gonna push
but
that.
to me, it can't be that much of an advantage if
Well,
you're still
quote unquote advantage.
Yeah, like if it's getting to the point now where it's like, I don't know. Maybe we need to port this over because we're not making enough money on this. 3 million just isn't enough,
Right.
guys.
Remember
And
when
you're like,
Square?
And you look over that Nintendo and you're like, why they just put 2 GameCubes together and made the Wii? Now you know why.
I think
yeah, because Nintendo was chilling for like, what was it, 7 years? And it was like,
yeah, it's like we ain't spending all that money. The people going bankrupt.
Yeah,
over this
that's
shit.
something I want to get on. But first, since you mentioned Rise of the Tomb Raider, according to VG charts, the PC was the highest selling version at 2.5 million. PS4 was 2,070,000, and then the Xbox One, the exclusive for a year system, only did 1 million.
Yeah, that's
So-
Yeah. But I'm betting I would guess that maybe Microsoft made a deal with Square in terms of funding part of that game
Right,
to be
funding,
like,
I think.
Yeah,
to be like, hey, we'll give you such amount of dollars, but this has to be exclusive to our system for a year. I'm like, I think that was more beneficial for the game coming out than it was for Microsoft because you didn't get anything from
They
it.
pulled a Epic Game Store.
And that's the shit that hurts me because I'm like, at that point, guys, if it's this much of a struggle to like maintain these level of graphics, actually, I don't know. Does Sony not reuse their engines? Is that what the issue is? Because wouldn't it make more sense?
Well, it depends because they use
I
the
feel like
Death Stranding.
Uncharted 4 engine, whatever that is. For
Uncharted,
using
they used it for
Contra.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, but Horizon.
Yeah, I think it's a studio thing though, right? It's
yeah, because Horizon
studio-
is the Decima engine, and they use that for Death Stranding.
Yeah.
But that's because Kojima doesn't have his own studio at the time, so he needed an engine, and Sony, that was their top one at the time. It
Right.
still is probably. And
You see, that's coming out on PC.
but God of
so that
War
makes
doesn't use God of War's own engine. It doesn't use either of those. So
See, and I think that's, I don't know. I feel like maybe these developers need to get a little bit more efficient
but if
about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if you do that with the engine thing, this may be maybe thinking too hard about it, but if you do that, all these games will start to end up looking like the same damn.
They'll
game.
even look even more like.
Remember that Unreal Engine look?
Because Naughty Dog has their own engine for Uncharted and The Last of Us, same engine, obviously. And then Horizon and the Death Stranding. I'm guessing Days Gone. Probably I think they made their own engine. So, and Nintendo does that too. They don't use the same engine across the board.
Right.
I guess Days Gone was Unreal.
But they're
so.
different again because their costs are way
so
lower than these
that's
guys.
something we never.
They can afford to kind of like experiment and switch engines. And even then, certain games, like if it's in the same series, they tend to use the same engine.
Yeah.
And that's something we never talk about when it comes to the Switch, not just because it's a tablet and I mean that's as much power as they could get out of it, but the one thing that maybe was part of their decision was for keeping the power down wasn't just the cost and making it 300 is that it's going to keep the cost of development down too. And I don't think we've ever really said that. But I think I'd be shocked if it wasn't something they talked about when they talk about the power of the Wii U, the Wii, and the Switch. If it's like,
well, I guess because in the sense the consumers don't give a fuck about that conversation.
No,
like,
but
the
I
average
mean,
consumer isn't required. We do because of how interested we are in this form of media. But like,
nerds.
I'd be curious though, because the Mario Kart 8 engine was the first, like, as far as Nintendo's HD game engines, where we really just said, wow. And people took notice. Sony and Microsoft fans were watching the trailer and, oh, that's just CGI. That ain't the game. They didn't realize it was just replays from the actual game. So Nintendo
doesn't do CGI.
I'd be curious what they actually put into that game engine and what Mario Kart 8, what number it needed to sell to be profitable. Because we know Breath of the Wild, was it 2 million? Is when it needed to get to be profitable.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder what Mario Kart 8 was. I know it reached it because it did 8 million on the Wii U, but I'm curious.
I think it was probably like.
Was it 1 million? Was it a 1.5? I mean, because
I think it was probably around the same thing, like either a million or a million and a half.
Million and a half, probably, yeah.
And it fucking see Mario Kart is such a like. Those are the franchises where Nintendo's like, well, it's gonna make that money. Like,
we're gonna make stupid profits.
I'm more surprised I'd be curious how much Luigi's Mansion 3 had to make to be profitable. That's the one I'm very curious about.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
because that game, it's like what?
That game is so gorgeous.
I love my
footage
so
of it.
good.
Just I catch myself just looking at the footage because it's so pretty. of
Yeah,
me playing,
I don't think we even know what engine that runs on, do we?
No,
that's probably a custom engine by Next Level, I would assume. Unless
I feel like we thought at some point it was Unreal.
Yeah, but it's
or was it what's one of the games are Unreal? One of the big was it
Yoshi.
Odyssey?
Yoshi's
Oh,
Unreal.
Yoshi is.
Yoshi's Crafted World
One
is
of the
Unreal.
big games.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like one of Nintendo's big
I know.
IPs.
Actually, I'm curious how much did Yoshi sell? I'm just curious because I'm like,
It did a good amount.
I bet it does well.
it
talking
did
about Crafted World.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
It
And
wasn't in the
Nintendo
reports,
was saying
was
that
it?
game.
It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit over 1 million. It looks like.
Really?
Yeah. Well, granted, that was at the end of March last year, so that might be way more now.
Oh yeah.
Well,
It says it was at 1,110,000 units as of March 31st.
Oh yeah, I remember it selling 1 million within the.
Yeah, it sold 1 million like within
month.
the. So I would bank that it probably is way past that. I don't know to what degree.
I bet it's between 3 and 4 at least.
Damn.
At the least.
I don't know. I think it probably stopped around 2. I don't know. That's my
Really?
I would say around
maybe 3.
2 as well.
You said because you don't like it.
No, I think probably 2 to 3 because you look at a game like ARMS and even Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They kind of
they all
hit
kinda,
that number, then they kind of really taper
But
off.
you know what? ARMS and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 ain't got a recent commercial. Yoshi does.
ARMS doesn't have legs yet.
Yeah, I'm more surprised by that.
I've seen Yoshi commercials recently.
Yeah, that's probably the more surprising than anything because I'm like,
It must be selling. I know they're not just
Yoshi's
sure
weird.
sells.
Yoshi's always been a weird franchise that even though a lot of people say like a good chunk of the later games haven't been good, the games still sell for some fucking.
Well, yeah, but sales don't mean quality. It's never been.
Well, I know.
Oh no, we're not talking about the quality.
I'm just saying.
We're talking about the sales.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I'm not
Yoshi story, anyone? Oh.
What you trying to say, man?
That game is.
I was like Yoshi's Story, man.
It's beautiful. The sound design is bananas, especially on a cartridge. But goodness gracious, that game is I don't know. It's weak. to put it nicely. And I was the one who was day one, was loving it. I was loving the the run up to the game. Super excited for it, and I got it, and I beat it in like an hour.
Wow.
Maybe 2 hours tops. And I was like, damn, that's it. It's over.
Real quick, I'm just curious. When was the
not
last
a lot of replay value either?
When was the last Nintendo like investors meeting? When the hell was that?
They got the next. It was October, wasn't it?
I was gonna say they don't seem to care about those anymore.
No, they got it. It's always.
We don't need to. We're already winning.
It'll be February. It'll be the first or second week in February.
So like in a few weeks then.
Yeah, because it always takes them about a month to get the numbers all together and report on them. So we'll get all the holiday numbers and all that.
In a direct right before.
Just update.
That direct come out of nowhere and be like, hey man.
Usually they do directs after the report. Not always, but
I'm surprised we haven't had it because of the again the GameStop place.
Well, I mean, think about it.
They never.
It's pretty soon.
You say that, but Nintendo's been putting out like news related shit in the last like few weeks.
Yeah, they don't do. They announce the directs on Tuesdays usually. They'll announce.
Well, those games are filling up. Like at this point, it's like they better drop it before we know everyone.
I think no matter what, we'll get a direct before Animal Crossing drops. I'm pretty sure they want to show that they get.
Well, yeah, but that's like fucking in another 2 months.
So
I think tomorrow we'll get an announcement of a direct.
To be fair, they tend to do that. They announce shit on like Tuesdays.
Yeah, because it's always after the podcast. But one time it was before.
Remember, to be fair, they literally was Pokemon 2 weeks ago, then Smash did last week. So this week could be the one. They just keep doing directs every week now.
And
don't think.
I mean, most people only wanted the direct for the Smash shit. I think people care a little bit less already.
No, I wouldn't say that.
They got a lot of Nintendo's got really nothing of note coming in 2020. That was, I mean, other than Animal Crossing. I'm saying that's been that was at E3.
He was so quick with it too.
That was at E3. We've already seen it a couple times. As far as like after March, there's no real schedule. So
the only you got really is like from Nintendo themselves. They got the Xenoblade.
Well, we don't know when that. They didn't even have a year
that's
or
why
a
I'm
date.
excited. But you know what?
20.
Oh, 20. I mean, it didn't have a month or like a season.
Yeah, it didn't have like a
It
specific.
didn't say anything. It just
that excites me and scares
Why did
me
I think they said December for that?
no.
Because you assumed,
And
and that was your first mistake.
So they really, if their 2020 has anything, some major.
We're
games,
gonna find out.
We need to find. I mean, we're gonna find out before E3. So
well, the last time we felt this way, I was still like maybe something's gonna happen. Was what 2018?
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, we knew Smash was.
Anything.
Remember that Smash was announced though at the first direct of the year.
Well, I mean,
it's gonna be a crazy year. But
yeah, because I mean, they have the capacity to do that same kind of shit again, where like you get a bunch of surprise announcements. It's like, oh, by the way, they come out in 6 months. You're like, what?
We should have predicted the 2020 lineup. Yo, see how it is. Should
I-
predict-
Yeah, we're gonna take a chance and do that next week because I wanted to get to the Discord questions that we haven't got to.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't even talk about the Smash shit
We'll
yet.
talk about that next week. I changed the podcast.
Oh, I thought you already talked
I
about
changed
it.
the
yeah.
title.
That could
Oh, no.
honestly be a whole podcast.
Yeah, I changed the title.
the whole. For
But then no
2020.
one will care.
That is
That's
true.
that's how we do it around here.
around
That's
these
we're
how
just
we
going
do
through
it
the
around
questions
here.
now.
Only
We're not-
Grandpa News.
around these.
I don't want
right
to.
here.
We're already, I don't want to skip the questions for a third straight week. So
Why the
Okay,
fuck
so we're doing
not?
Smash next week.
yeah,
So we talked about
Okay,
Xbox for like. A
yeah. I
fucking
mean,
hour.
I was hoping that just because I was thinking at work, it's like, man, I just don't know how I feel. I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know how the other guys feel about this. I was hoping, and I didn't want to jinx it. I was like, man, this could be a really interesting discussion, and I think it was. So good stuff from us Nintendo guys. And we didn't really even bash. We didn't. I didn't think
Yeah,
anybody
like
even
the
bashed
like-
the other companies even once in this whole
Yeah, like the
discussion.
feature's fine. I don't have an issue with the feature.
Not frauds. Why would we bash?
Yeah.
it?
So Ibsters asked a question back on December 30th. And,
Jesus.
This one,
God damn.
this one we could probably save to next week, but still, I think you could just give a quick answer. Would you buy an Echo Fighters pass for $10?
I think
I don't know
that's
how
too-
many fighters he's thinking, but
I would say 5.
if it was 5 Echo Fighters, let's say
for
can-
$10. They sell that shit for 20.
of an
Yeah,
Echo
I think
Fighter,
I'd be.
I don't think they'd try to sell us at 5 Echo Fighters for 20.
Well, is it?
But Nintendo is still.
What was his question? Is my
Like an Echo Fighter would be like the Octoling would play just like the Inkling.
Yeah,
but
yeah, but if I look at it, it's kind of like Lucina, where there'd be like 1 or 2 minor differences.
Nintendo is weird with Echo Fighters anyway, because you have, for example, like Chrom and Daisy, they're like Echo Fighters, Dark Samus, who plays kind of very differently. But then Dr. Mario is not an Echo Fighter. You have certain clones that are Echo Fighters and certain are
No,
not.
but that's
It's
because
really
Dr. Mario generally has a different kind of fighting play style. He uses the same general animations, but like the properties of his
He
moves.
has one move that is different, like his special move, he uses the cape instead of the float thing.
No, but I'm saying the animations are the same, but the properties and damage I put of the moves are different.
yeah. So what's the answer to the question, though? Would you?
But for me, it's going to be yes, because I want all characters anyway.
I think it'd be cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue.
It'd have to be cool characters, even if they're Echoes.
Well, there
Again,
it goes.
I always, that's the problem with where people with the Echoes. It's like there's still new fucking characters. So to me, it's like
I don't know.
I'll-
Daisy's not a new. Daisy it plays identical to Peach.
Yeah, but she,
I wouldn't pay
Daisy-
money.
She's
I wouldn't.
an independent woman, Juice.
I wouldn't pay
Yeah,
money
yeah.
for Daisy
Yeah, I would.
playing identical to Peach.
I would because I prefer Daisy over Peach.
Nah,
Like I said, I want the full roster, and Echo Fighter is still like graphics of a different character and shit. So
Would you
I'm
pay?
gonna be that sucker that do that.
What if they put Tails for Sonic and played identical to Sonic, but just
There's
as
no way
Tails?
you could. Well,
That would be really awkward, yo.
that's neutering fucking Tails.
Well, if
in
you
my
played
opinion.
Sonic 2, whatever his first appearance,
Oh,
he
that's
still played other
You're
than.
right.
I guess
that
you'd
they
give him his recovery be different or something.
his recovery would be way fucking better, is what it would be.
Yeah.
Fucking but see, that's still Echo to me because like they'll do that where like for example, Chrom is just a mixture of Roy and Ike, which I think is probably the more interesting
Yeah.
of an Echo Fighter. Where,
What if
like,
they did like for me, if they did the Breath of the Wild Zelda, but she played identical, even though it wouldn't make sense to the teleport doesn't make really sense anyway, but just
Tell me she has. There's.
Would you
Zelda-
buy it? Well, then the question is, would you buy it?
I mean,
I would put it like this: Breath of the Wild Zelda would have to be an Echo Fighter of Link. There you go.
now what if
Why
she
would-
was just
why?
a straight echo of Zelda?
I'm fine with that.
I wouldn't pay
Like-
$6 for that, but maybe $2.
Yeah,
Why would you?
like if it was $10, I'd be fine with it.
I think the point is $10 for 5 Echo Fighters. That's what
That
I
fine.
seems all right, yeah.
That's fine to me. I'm fine with that.
If it was like I said, if they tried to charge $5-6 a piece,
If they charge 20
No way.
and I like and a lot of the characters I didn't care for, that's the one I probably would skip
all right. So
for like 3 months and then I
Matt
change my mind.
Squat asks, "What's a game or games that you loved as a kid, but as an adult you realize it's actually pretty bad?"
Huh.
Uh,
I didn't even.
fuck.
I know Clocket's answer to that would be
Oh,
none.
as
Zero.
A kid, I'm trying to think as a,
So I'm
as
gonna
a
answer
kid,
for
Everything was
him.
great.
Well, I think, God, I don't go back to a lot of old games. I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think as a kid. I'm trying to think.
I wouldn't say
I've
necessarily
had
as a
problems.
kid, but as a younger gamer, I think I loved Eternal Darkness a lot more than when last time I hooked up my GameCube and tried playing it. But I didn't give it enough time to truly be fair to it. But it definitely didn't play very well. Same with God, I'm trying to think of any others. Star Fox 64, I guess maybe nowadays. I think less of it, but I wouldn't say it's bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say it works differently for me because I either play a game even in the past and even back then I either liked it or I didn't, and I wouldn't all of a sudden go
I
back to
have
an old game and all of a sudden not like it anymore.
I agree.
I
Yes,
will say I have one that's more recent, but it's not really back when I was younger. Like in 2013,
That
like
you were younger.
2013 was 7 years ago, so I'll say that. Pokemon X and Y, I fucking hate that game now. I think that's one of the laziest fucking ever.
The question was kids. You guys are copping out like a.
Well, Renee,
I'm just saying I don't play that many like games as a kid.
My answer, which is almost not fair, but it is. I was a kid. A game called Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say Terminator Juice, and I was like, boy,
no, what the fuck?
it's like back in my day, Terminator used to be a cooler guy. Now.
I love that game because for one, it follows the movie, a Super Nintendo game, followed the movie pretty well and made like playable levels out of certain little scenes in the movie that probably shouldn't have been like an action thing, but going back, oh boy. I mean, I think I remembered those things at the time, but back then you were a little bit more lenient with that stuff, like controls and all that kind of stuff. But boy, it's I actually have a video up a few years ago where I replayed it, and it's terrible.
I would say
for
me to really, I can't answer it and say the game's pretty bad, but to be like a game I'm really bad at that I loved as a kid that now I'm like absolute trash at, and if I gave it more time, I'm sure I could get good with, is the original Mario Kart. When I tried that on the NES, the Switch Online NES or Super NES,
yeah,
I'm like, I used to be a beast. I could go to Ghost, whatever the Ghost track was called. I can't think of the exact name.
No.
And I could just, oh shit, cat's about to step on the power button.
No,
that would have been something. But
the podcast.
I turned it on. I'm like, all right, I'll play Ghost House 1. I used to dominate, and I sucked so bad at making those corners. Like I was always like turning early every time I was running to the wall. So the game isn't bad, but I just got so bad at it,
yeah.
that I guess that would be the closest thing I could really, unless I think of one
it's
later.
It's unplayable for me. I can't.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, like I went back and played that on the online service, and I was like, "Wow, I don't remember this being this fucking hard to play. What happened?"
Yeah,
I'm sure
I've really never been able to fucking play Super Mario Kart. I've always been shit at it. I don't understand it.
I
still don't fucking get it.
I bet if you put
it
5-10 hours into it, you like I'm sure it would come back to me eventually, but it's just so different from the newer games.
Is the newer game simpler? That's what it feels like. The newer game
I
is
don't
more
say
simple.
it's simpler, just the timing's
It feels
off.
simpler because the fucking I don't know what the mechanics.
timing's
I don't know-
different.
They control a lot better.
Yeah, and you got a D-pad.
The whole reality is that they control better and they're tighter.
I don't think I'm guessing the first Mario Kart isn't 60 frames per second. I don't know that for sure, but just the timing of what you're used to turning and reacting could be it. I don't know, because I know there's definitely changes your input. So I don't know what it is. I suck so bad that I was just like, I wish I'd never even went back and played it, because in my mind back in the day,
it messed up your memories of it.
I got one that, I mean, I guess it's not really. It's kind of
Rabbits Go Home.
Doesn't make sense. I guess is a. I remember Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I was gonna bring that up too.
That was always trash.
I don't know if I liked it or not. I really don't know. I don't remember. I just remember the fact in order to move, it was motion control. What the fuck? It's so odd. Like I remember that with like you would move. It wasn't Charlie, you probably remember where you would tilt.
Yeah, you had it had the same problem Metroid Other M had, where you couldn't use the fucking analog stick. You had to turn the Wiimote sideways and tilt it down or like forward to get you to run.
Well,
And it
to be
was like,
fair, the other end doesn't make you do that though.
well, no, but I'm saying in the sense that the control, the way you had to like hold the controller was the same.
Yeah, but you also have to use motion control to actually walk around. It's
Well, that's true. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's I would say it has
Sounds
not
like some bullshit to me.
I feel bad because I still like the story of that game, but that gameplay does not.
Well,
age
I
shit.
remember getting to a dinosaur planet. I was like, "Holy shit, there's dinosaurs!"
Oh yeah, it's rough. It's
and
rough.
no, that's cool. That's great.
No, I'm talking about the gameplay, not the fucking level.
Okay. I think thinking as a kid, I remember loving the party mini games. I used to play that with my friends. And that was my favorite part of Sonic and Secret Rings. So I'm gonna go and say it was probably bad.
It ages pretty bad.
I actually thought of one because I needed time to think about that shit. Where I actually do think that it's a game I loved as a kid, and that's actually really fucking trash. I made a video recently about top 5 RPGs you probably didn't play, and there was a game in there. And I loved that as a kid. I bought it on the game as a teen, I guess. I bought it on the GameCube. It was a port of a Dreamcast game. It was called Evolution, and I loved that game as a kid. And I was making that video, and I was thinking to myself, holy shit, this game is actually really, really fucking bad. Because you have, like, dungeon crawling aspects, and everything is extremely linear. Everything is the same thing all the time, over and over, and the sound is not really good. And I put it in the video, and I was like, do I really want people to play this? I was like, but I need, like, a 5th game. It's like, I'll put it in there and shit. Like, it's actually not really good.
Well, I just thought of one that's generally I feel like isn't a good game. Is the NES ice hockey game where you pick the heavy set guy, the medium, and the skinny fast guy. Going back and trying to play that, I think you had 3 players and the goalie. The goalie moved. You controlled one of the other players, and your goalie moved when you were moving the player. So as soon as a shot got past the player you'd switch to the goalie, and you were already like holding up to try to get to the puck, and now your goalie's going up because there was no way to control the goalie separately, and it's just so frustrating. I'm like, how was this ever fun? But back when I was a kid, I didn't know any better.
See, that's why I don't have a lot of nostalgia for NES, because outside of Nintendo games and select third-party games, those games are trash.
Yeah, we're like Super Mario Brothers 2 still plays like they made it this like last year when I played it. Like it still control wise still plays perfect, and so that's aged well. But Renee, I gotta give him a shout out. I tried playing Metal Gear Solid 4. I want to say it was 2018 after I played Metal Gear Solid 5. I was like, you know what? Let me put in Metal Gear Solid 4, and I went through the game. It was notorious. I remember the loading times, and I remember the long cutscenes. So how does this game actually play? And I don't know how I made it through that game. I started it over. This was, like I said, 2018, I want to say. And that game is it's borderline unplayable. Like, it just, the limitations on Snake, the little you can do, the stealth, everything it's absolute trash. And I don't know how the fuck it.
That is surprising considering I've heard people say.
Wait, which game?
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, MGS4.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard people say the gameplay for that game is still great.
Oh, I don't.
People prefer it over 5.
All you can do is like a 3-punch kick combo. Like you're so limited.
Like
you can't climb up anything. It's just so fucking limiting. But let's get to the next question here. Mizatide 89. Would you happily sacrifice half the Smash roster of Ultimate for that Spirit Energy dev time to manifest a wave race game? I would say F-Zero, but if any of you said no to that, then Shudders with Rage. So either F-Zero or wave. I don't know why. I would say, I mean, you guys know me. I think the Smash roster's unnecessary. It's bigger. It doesn't need to get any bigger. And you could get rid of some Echo Fighters. I mean, I'd rather have a wave race game and have half the roster, but that's just me.
Well, it depends for me on what
question,
character. For F-Zero, I'd probably definitely do it, but for Wave Race, I don't know. Besides, for me, it's easy because you have, like you said, if you remove the Echo Fighters, you remove the Fire Emblem characters, you already got like half the roster gone, so it's kind of an easy choice.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say no just to make him shudder with rage.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because I don't care about
I'm
either of
not
those
here trying to
franchises.
rewrite history, man. Right now we got the ultimate fucking celebration.
I'm also
Yeah.
gonna say no because I don't give a fuck about either of those franchises.
It'd make it easier to pick
Yeah, well,
characters.
fuck you.
As long as we
Oh my
fit,
mama.
as long as they don't get rid of We Fit, I'll be all right.
Well, Wii Fit's considered one of the newer characters, so that would get cut. Man.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Wii Fit would
Yeah,
get.
they
If
cut
you're
the-
cutting it in half,
all the new
literally half,
characters would get cut until they got to the halfway point.
if you're going by sales of games, she's in you.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's some bullshit. Is what that is.
All right,
Say
so
bye-
Dave,
Bitch, I bought that board. It wasn't no fun.
Popular Fire Emblem characters. Ah!
shout outs to the people that joined the Smash stream on Saturday night. We had two guys that were really good. Fiji with Pikachu was fucking. I think he won like 4 in a row, and then Renee was pretty good. But it was Havoc Strawberry with his Jigglypuff, his Donkey Kong. He was pretty damn good. So
Retro needs to
The
take notes.
goddamn Jigglypuff.
Retro needs to take notes on that DK usage.
I wanted to join, but my allergies was destroying me.
Oh,
Destroying me.
we actually had a full lobby the whole time, so that was nice. I know the last time I tried to play, I didn't stream it, but we didn't have the full lobby. But so Dave
Me and that
97.
sniffling my ass off.
Dave 97 asked, could the first quarter or first half of 2020 be dry with Animal Crossing being the only big new Nintendo game? I think that's already happened. I don't think there's any doubt, but that maybe
Try to me then.
maybe a
Drive
June.
from Nintendo or
Yeah,
just drive?
maybe June. You could have another Mario Maker 2 like surprise game get released, but I think Animal Crossing is going to be the big game for the first 3 quarters of the year.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah.
I mean,
Animal Crossing is gonna sell fucking gangbusters, man.
Well, that's a given.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine it
Those
comes out
handheld
in a-
franchises do so well.
What happens if it comes out and no one buys it? Not even me and Retro.
Well, Retro needs to see more because he thinks it's still kind of limited.
I'm
so.
still gonna buy it day fucking one. I'm just
Limited.
worried about it.
That's blind fanboyism, Retro.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
I don't
Why
think,
do
dude.
Why do you think it's limited? Because they're on islands?
No, because they haven't shown anything. Because every Animal Crossing so far got bigger and bigger and bigger. Then they added the city, then they added the island. The island had like online multiplayer mini games, all that kind of shit. And so far, all you've seen is you have the small island and you can walk there together. They haven't shown anything else yet.
Yeah.
And from what they've shown from what they've seen so far, I'm like, but can I go anywhere else at least? Is there something, you know?
I can't dispute that because
more
modern
stuff.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't put anything past.
I'd be shocked if there's nothing.
Yeah, like Santa Claus.
But at the same time,
I don't know, man.
Everything I've
the
seen-
Bunny is dead.
everything I've seen feels like everything I've seen before from past Animal Crossing gameplay and trailers.
Nah,
But
I
no,
mean,
because remember, for example, we haven't seen anything. For example, you have like museums, like getting fish and fucking bugs and that kind of shit. They
Yeah,
haven't
you're
shown
talking-
any
you're
area
talking-
where there's-
Yeah, but that
I mean-
sounds like late game shit. Like after you've already like built up the town.
Yeah,
and
but
whatnot.
stuff like that is what they showed previously in other games. When New Leaf released, they showed what the first few things they showed was the giant city, the island with the multiplayer games. You
So,
can swim,
I'm
you
gonna
can dive, you can all this
take
fucking shit.
real quick. I'm gonna take Juice's approach and believe that Retro don't know what the fuck he talking about. I'm gonna ask a real Animal Crossing fan. Robert, how do you feel about the Animal Crossing footage you've seen so far?
whoa, I feel bad for Retro. I know Retro plays a lot. But,
You ain't real, son.
I'm trying to kid.
I mean, again, if you compare it to something like City Folk is a lot more bare bones. And you think, I know, Juice, you think it looks like the same, but if you play City Folk, you instantly realize how much they've added for New Horizons, especially compared to City Folk. Newly, maybe not as much.
See, that's the problem, because City Folk was my first Animal Crossing. My problem with City Folk is that it did way too much shit really bad. If you played like that game for a month, you had no more grass for your whole fucking town. That deterioration system was ass. In the new game, like I said, they added a proper city where you could actually go and do shit instead of just going.
Wait a minute, Retro. You've only been an Animal Crossing
They have
fan
a
for like
city?
I'm
3 games.
confused. I'm
No, that
confused.
We better move on.
First of all, there are like 4 games or some shit. And I just
Four.
said City Folk was my first one. Then I went to Wild World. Then I went to the original. Then I went to New Leaf. I have all of them. I have like,
I'm just double checking. That's all.
At the
I'm doing.
same time,
but City, because Robert, he doesn't like.
We
New
gotta pay
Leaf
the
and
bills.
shit. He
Wait,
didn't
we gotta
play
pay the bills
fighting
first.
game.
Hold up.
Hold
Just
on.
kidding.
I do
Wait,
like
you,
I'm just
I
kidding.
do
Let
like-
Robert.
Let Robert defend himself.
you got disqualified. You
This
damn.
man just said I don't like New Leaf. I do like New Leaf. I just don't play it because it's on a
He doesn't like
handheld.
3DS.
Yeah, I don't like.
Okay, so that's
3DS.
fair.
Because the main thing that New Leaf added that changed the whole thing was they added the island. You could travel with your friends to the island. There were a ton of fucking mini games you could play together. That by itself was a whole new addition that the franchise never
Well,
had.
Robert didn't get into it because he had to look at that little ass screen. That's why.
Yeah, that shit. If it's tiny in my hand, I'm not looking at it. But again, like
I
mean,
love
if you
Animal
think about it,
Crossing talk right now.
I celebrated New Year.
All right, we're going to the
I-
next question. We're going to the next question.
Animal Crossing.
No, let him continue.
Skate's
goddamn.
finest.
This
Question
is
for the
a thing.
crew: have you ever enjoyed a game so much that you immediately played it over again after finishing it? And I can answer immediately. The first game that comes to mind is Dead Space. I finished the game, I started over, and I didn't stop playing it until I beat it a second time. Then I started over, and I got like halfway through before I started playing a different game, and then I came back and finished it a third time. So Dead Space is definitely probably the only game I've ever truly done that for since the NES, when games were 45 minutes long.
Yeah, mine is dun, 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 dun.
Galaxy.
Galaxy, because I hated Sunshine and I needed Galaxy to make me feel better about 3D Mario.
I did that
games
for
and play.
Odyssey though too. Actually, I just remembered. Played it all the way through right after.
Yeah. So
I think
that was
Mine's
me,
Animal Crossing New Leaf. No, I'm just kidding. Mine's
How do
actually.
how do you beat Animal Crossing? Is my
No,
question.
you go to KK and then you get the credits, and you just do that every week, you
You
know.
go to what? You go to what?
Yeah, you go.
Dog, we saved
Get
in
away
a
from
bar.
Animal Crossing.
KK, man. KK.
See,
Get
you
away
heard
from
what he
Animal
said?
Crossing.
Okay, the credits come
Go to
Answer
on.
the question.
KKK.
Yeah, you
Go
saw
to the clan.
it.
Answer the question, please.
That's why you love black
My
and
real,
white.
my
I see
real
what it
answer
is.
though. My real answer is Tales of Symphonia, because I was so addicted to the combat system. When I finished it, I was like, I need to beat the shit out of more shit. I just started playing it over again.
Dreamcast or GameCube?
Me?
Yeah.
Tales of
You?
Symphonia doesn't exist on the GameCube. On the Dreamcast, I mean.
It doesn't? What am I
Tales of
thinking about?
Symphonia, no, that was the
No, yeah,
GameCube
Tales,
original in the
yeah.
beginning.
Skies of
Yeah,
Arcadia.
What am I thinking about?
You think of Skies of Arcadia,
Skies of Arcadia. Okay, that's what.
which is a goddamn masterpiece as well, but I didn't
Yeah,
start
it
playing
is.
that over instantly.
Anybody else start one?
Oh.
For me, like it'd probably be Galaxy, because I don't really play games immediately right after because there's so many games.
Yeah.
And so it's tough for me to be like, all right, let's press start again right away, and it's like, ah, shit,
I did
gotta
that for
start.
Resident Evil 2 actually as well. It wasn't
Well,
immediately, but it was pretty soon.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I think
I can
when
see
I was
that
younger,
now.
I know I played Galaxy so much that I'm sure once I beat it. I remember again. I here's something I never talked about before, that I used to write down. I wrote down like a bunch of different names for Mario Galaxy. So I name it Super Luigi Galaxy. Well, not Luigi, but before I did Luigi, Super whatever. Name any character in any video game, and I'd pretend that Mario is actually that character. So I replayed the game, pretending that Mario
Well,
was
Robert
actually
was
Link.
10, so
What?
you were 10 years old when you did that, so it
Exactly. Yeah, I was like,
probably
10
made
years old.
sense to you.
I had a whole list of it, and I was like, all right, let's see. Now I'm gonna have Super, I don't know, Alien Galaxy. This now Mario's an alien. I'll make sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You're a
The
strange
mind
child.
of you, the mind of the youth.
Wow.
My nephews and niece and nephew do that shit. They just make stuff up out of nowhere and just like that's
Well,
just
you
a
know,
kid's
Don't have an
my
mind.
active
son-
imagination. Leave
It's a
these
kid's
kids
mind.
alone.
My son turns 10 tomorrow, and I could see him doing the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. Happy early birthday.
Oh my God, my son turns 10. I can't.
Yeah, my nephew's
It's like the depression hits like fuck.
It's joyous and it's depressing at the
It
same
hit
time.
you. It's like double digits. Damn.
Soon he'll start stealing from you.
Wow.
Well, he don't.
Wow.
Here he gets everything he wants already. So
Yeah, what you got to steal
All right,
for
so,
when you get money?
This is a good question from Dave97. Do you think Nintendo Labo as a whole is dead? Could we see any Labo VR updates to any more Nintendo published games? I think it's pretty much done. I don't think they're going to do much more.
We might get a few surprise out of nowhere, maybe like a new one year.
Didn't they recently do something to it, or am I just
No.
I think if they were going to add VR, they would have done it to other games by now.
I think they botched Labo. Labo should have been a digital game that you add on different things to, instead of making people buy the game a new game
for
every
each
time.
one. That's stupid.
Yeah. Cardboard isn't as bad as, because if that makes sense. You buy a different kit for a different section, and it should be like $20 each.
It should have been like one game. That's the problem.
Yeah, one game, and then you unlock it.
If you don't have the cardboard to do the game, then you just can't play the game. You should be like, hey, do you have the bird kit?
Right, you need the bird kit to play this. You need that code or whatever to unlock it to play it. That only comes in the box. That would have been a way smarter way to do it.
Yeah, having to put in a different cartridge for everyone was that's stupid.
Nuts. Yeah, it's just that's what killed it, I think.
And it just I was commenting on Clocked's video, because a lot of his thing with exclusives was the big factor was Nintendo and their unique hardware and some of the gimmicks and innovations they did. And I was like, well, tell me, since 2018, tell me a game that Nintendo built around the Joy-Cons. I was just thinking they're major games. I forgot all about Labo. Like, it was completely forgot about it.
Damn.
And he's like, well, Labo and Ring Fit. And I'm like, you got me on that. But honestly, like, what does that tell you when I completely forgot about Nintendo Labo at all?
It means you're getting old.
I'm not the target audience, obviously, but they definitely built that around the Switch's unique features. But
you would remember even if you didn't buy it, if it was doing well, if it did well.
Yeah, if it was
but
still,
it obviously is.
Which is weird, because I think Ring Fit is doing better than Labo.
Ring Fit is doing better
probably
than
did
Labo.
all right.
Oh, Ring Fit's doing huge numbers in Japan.
Yeah,
my problem is that I still
Ring
haven't
Fit was
fucking
sold
felt
out for a
those
while.
I still haven't felt those fucking ice cubes in my Joy-Cons, man.
That should be free. 1-2 Switch.
You probably would think someone's broken if you.
1-2 Switch should.
You got to buy 1-2 Switch for that.
Ice Cube game should be free.
That
should be a free.
You the most juice.
A free demo or something to people could really feel.
Why would you demo that game? That's the whole game.
No, the Ice Cube thing.
Oh
yeah.
Just so
I thought you just meant a demo Ring Fit.
No, I'm talking about 1-2 Switch, the Ice Cube.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I'm sorry. 1-2 Switch. That's what I meant.
Ring Fit has been sold out in the UK for ages.
Yeah, so in Japan too.
I bet you that's just because they didn't anticipate.
They didn't anticipate it, and it comes
just
with
like
hardware,
Amiibo and shit. Comes with the ring, obviously. So.
And it's not just the
Meza T just uploaded a video.
The tech in that thing is ridiculous to me.
Did you just upload a video, T?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, Meza T video just went up. I was like, okay, thanks for the update. All right, we got a few
Thanks
more.
for the promo.
All right, so Lucy, I'm guessing that's Lightning. Questions for the crew. Which of these VG engines used by certain companies and developers is considered your favorite game engine to experience in VG? What the fuck is VG?
Video game, probably.
Oh, okay.
Let
me.
Unreal Engine, MT Framework, Frostbite, Unity. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't play Frostbite.
Kind of shit,
I don't play MT Frameworks. Is dead. Unreal has some good games. I mean,
let me.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Well, Capcom used to use MT Framework. Now they use the RE engine, but I don't care. Unreal Engine seems to be in a lot of pretty good games.
I'm just gonna say Unity because Unity is the most used in general.
Yeah, but
I like the Snowdrop logo.
Yeah, the Snowdrop logo is pretty bad.
This is something y'all really like.
I like the Decima engine and the
It's
Naughty
a weird
Dog.
niche question. That's all I'm gonna say.
I like
Naughty Dog's engine.
Usually, that's why I was quiet earlier. Because usually when people talk engines, I'm like, I don't really care enough to invest in that.
I like Luigi.
I like my Camaro engine.
I knew that was coming.
I like my V6 and my Tacoma.
T was fucking plotting like, I'm gonna get it today. I'm gonna get this joke in. Today.
I like whatever engine they use for Luigi's Mansion 3, and hopefully they use it again. I like Breath of the Wild engine.
Still trying to figure out what it is. We don't know.
All right, Terrell only question. Which Pokemon gen is considered your favorite when it comes to story, gameplay,
Gen
OST, or
Gen
protagonist?
5. Gen 5.
What about Pokemon Ranch?
What about the protagonist?
I'm so sick of your shit, Robert. What'd you say, Juice?
Even the protagonist is your favorite in Gen 5?
Yeah.
Well, when it started in
They're
Gen
all
5, that's the only
silent.
how I recognize
They're
it.
all first off, they're all silent, so they're all on the same tier.
True, that's how I was about to say. They all look the
You
same.
like the gameplay in Gen 5 versus 7 or whatever now?
You mean 8? Yeah.
8.
Overall, I still think Gen 5 is the best game, the best Pokemon generation.
Was-
like Black and White are the best games.
Was Black and White your game of the year that year? I'm guessing yes.
Yeah, that was 2010.
Yeah.
All right.
That was 10 years. It was on my game of the decade list. God damn it!
I was thinking that God Simulator when you say black and white.
Oh, I thought.
It's black or white, I think, right?
No,
I
it's
don't
the
remember.
God Simulator.
Oh
No,
yeah,
the God
yeah,
Simulator is
yeah,
black or
yeah,
white.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so Nomad wants to know what's the most difficult game you've ever completed. I mean, Celeste was
Ever
pretty
completed,
challenging.
That's hard.
That's pretty relative.
Ori and the Blind Forest is pretty damn challenging.
Complete-
So he means complete as in 100%.
No,
No,
you
I
just
thought he
finished
meant
the game.
completed and beat the game.
Well, complete is by
Well,
definition.
technically, yeah. That means
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing?
I
Are we
know a lot
arguing
of people
semantics
use-
here.
Completed to be complete the the main story, the main game.
Devil's Third.
Cuphead would be the earliest.
I mean, if we're talking about complete as in 100%,
Ninja Gaiden on
I'm
the
so
Xbox.
sick of your shit,
I
Robert.
would personally say probably Galaxy 2 then.
How is that a different? Well, I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, have you ever done it?
I know that was a.
Completing it, that ain't no joke.
I stopped in mid sentence. Damn.
I guess just overall game, the Ninja Gaiden on reboot on the Xbox was pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I've seen that shit. That shit.
And then you could put
uncalled
Champions
for.
Road in its own category.
I would have said Super Meat Boy, but I haven't beat that game.
You know, like,
so
for
that's
me
not fair.
personally, I don't really 100% games unless I'm in love with them. Oh, again, if you're just talking about beating,
Robert,
We've already cleared that up.
I know, but Robert's being a dick. That's
I know, but I don't know. I have to think.
Does it say
He's
you've
like-
ever 100%ed? No.
Fuck.
It's like, oh,
I
I need proper documentation, sir.
I stay away from super difficult games if I know it's just like Super Meat Boy.
I know
type
what
bullshit.
clock this would be. Bloodborne, probably.
Mine's probably Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh, that game looks like fucking hell.
The NES one.
The NES
Yeah.
one. Oh, yeah. Sorry, by
I
the way.
didn't finish
NES
that
one.
shit.
I beat it. I was so proud. I would never fucking try to beat that game again. I don't think I ever tried.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
That final boss is just ridiculous. It's just a troll. It's a troll boss.
It always pisses me off when they put like the hardest boss in the game midway through the game, and you're like,
And you want it to be a challenge because it's the final boss. I get it.
yeah,
But you don't make it like almost
fuck
unbeatable.
you hard.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the next question next week. It's about Smash DLC and stuff.
Smash DLC.
So yeah, I think we'll pretty much covered everything. Next week we'll have to touch on the Smash DLC and maybe it might be a Nintendo Direct recap. Who knows?
Relax. Give me some.
All I know is Sakurai played Minecraft for the first time. That's 100% fact. Somebody has him on his friends list.
Yeah. No Steve then.
Someone's gonna be like, let me go fact check Juice real quick.
Unless somebody could have photoshopped it, but I mean that everyone
They
seems to agree
photoshopped
that's Sakurai's account. So
They photoshopped fucking Steve onto his fucking television screen or some shit. He did, yo.
Did you see like the beast hours he had in Smash was
yeah, it's like
pretty good.
2,400.
like 2,000 something hours.
2,500.
And that's
or
just
some
probably officially once since the game has been done. I'm sure development hours are even greater than that.
Yeah. He's probably playing with two.
I wonder
hands,
how
two
good he is. I
controllers.
wonder if he's like could compete with probably not the top pro players because even,
He does well.
but I bet he's pretty good.
From the little bit we get to see of him play, he does pretty well.
And he plays with the pro
It's what
controller
T
too.
just said. This guy in that one direct had like 2 controllers and was fighting himself, and like he would kick all our
That's
asses
insane.
playing on 2
he'd
separate
beat all of
controllers.
us
That
for
was
sure.
fucking insane.
I think we could take him on. If
But
we
the
all
pro
did-
players
if we
got
could take
tens
like
of
Like dance
thousands.
up.
No, like if we did. if we did
He's
two
like,
battles-
I just want an autograph. Get the fuck
If we
out of here.
did-
You just heard that shit about Ninja Gaiden's boss. I ain't trying to know Sakurai.
He's like, I ain't trying to play this shit. fuck
I'm
you.
just saying, if we did team battle like 7 against 1, I think we could take him on.
Also, side note, worst fucking boss in Smash is Taboo from Brawl with that fucking one-hit kill shit because he had a move that no one could see the goddamn blast radius of. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I hate one kill moves.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I hate that fucking ball because he would do like this explosion
Yeah.
thing, but you never knew what the radius of the explosion was.
Yeah, and then
Bullshit.
the Yabuki or whatever and Arms. Robert, you
Oh,
could have played him if you would have beat fucking Zeke.
I could have fucking played that man.
If you could have beat Zeke, you could have played him.
I shook his hand though. I grabbed his hand. He looked in my eyes.
Or not Zeke. What something to jerk?
No,
What-
Zerk. You mean Zerk?
Jerk.
Oh,
Zerk.
Zerk.
Yeah, that was the joke y'all made. Y'all
He
called him
figured
Zerk.
Rob out after the first match. You went toe to toe. Then he figured out your strategy. Use every single
I
attack.
forgot that actually. I think I beat. Or did I beat him the first round or
No,
whatever?
you were close, and I think he pulled it out, and then he just destroyed you after that.
Why y'all remember his?
Because
loss?
Robert, you still use the same strategy, and I can't beat
you
it.
didn't
but
learn. You didn't
Okay.
adapt.
It still
Bro,
wins. He still beats
It
us.
was the game wasn't even out yet. I was
Robert,
I
you were
did
using
it.
the same strategy and
I
late in the game.
Again, you could ask the guy. I mean, I don't know the guy. I don't know who he is, but the guy that was in front of me when I was waiting online, before the tournament, I told him, I'm like, hey man, you're probably gonna beat me, just to let you know, because I wasn't even. I
You
told him,
already
like,
conceded and shit.
Yeah, but I say, why you acting like why you?
no, because I wasn't even good. I remember playing.
That's not the point. You
That's
don't.
not the point, man.
you
You don't
fake
show
it.
your cards. I hope you don't play poker and shit. You broke.
Yeah,
one.
that'd be sad.
I just told him, like, I'll be honest, my guy, he's probably gonna beat me. I just wasn't very good on the test punch. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah. And then I fucking murdered him, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I
Reverse
didn't mean-
psychology right there.
What?
You reverse psychology.
Apparently, and then I beat everyone else. I got 6 in a row. Then that's what got me there.
That's so incredible.
Crazy. I can't believe that happened. I still can't believe.
You don't say shit like, you're gonna beat me. You say shit, man, I'm gonna break your legs. Arms is all you're gonna have left.
Well, bust your ass and then you get embarrassed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but what do I say? I'm totally gonna dominate your ass. That sounds horrible.
Whoa, whoa,
You
whoa,
shouldn't
whoa,
say that
whoa,
either.
whoa.
Just remember, if it's something small in his hand, he doesn't look at it. So.
What?
That's what he said.
In the flying hell.
That was the worst.
Yeah, you are terrible.
Oh, but you know, I forgot. I mean, technically, I forgot that I saw Jeff Keelan and I spoke to him. I forgot
Did
about
you
that.
give him a
When?
bag of Doritos?
At the E3 when I was able to go to the
Did you give him a copy of Metal Gear Solid?
You never
Yeah, Jeff
mentioned that.
Keighley was small and
Jeff
Jim's
Keelan was
hand.
there, and I said, "Oh, I saw him. And I'm like, oh."
He was the baby on his belly.
I called him Jeff. I'm like, how's it going, Jeff?
You just said, "How you going, Jeff?"
Yeah, how's it going, Jeff? And he's like, I remember he's like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good." And I just turned around.
He was the baby on his belly. Oh my god.
I'm like, "Who the fuck's this guy, yo?"
Jeff,
Was
or as I
he
call
on
him,
his knees
Sleepy
in front of
Jeff.
Kojima?
It was
or-
like he half asleep.
Yeah, imagine you could have been with. Yeah, man, imagine it could have caused some drama with him.
Did
with
you smell
tongue
some
and
Kojima on his breath?
What in the hell?
Butterfly kisses and shit.
Whoa! Whoa! Somebody turn it off. Jesus.
I mean, again, that's like that type of day that'll never be topped. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just crazy.
I still think the next time you see Jeff Kelly, you either throw a box of Death Stranding at him or a fucking bag of Doritos.
If I ever see it, Jeff Keighley again, I'll be like, listen, man, you've talked to me on different occasions now. You've talked to me on Twitter once. You talked to me in real life. We're best friends now, motherfucker.
You know, you'd be like,
And
You
squirt
don't
Mountain Dew in
threaten
his
him to be
face.
your friend.
how about just get some awards out at the Game Awards and quit trying to promote fucking Fast and Furious and shit.
Oh, man. That's
Trash ass game. That game looks like
God.
trash.
Yeah, I can't believe that they showcased
That's
that.
That's
you didn't know?
Like the early 360 game. What the
I'm
fuck
not
is
gonna
that?
fall for it. I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm not falling for the Game Awards again.
You ain't falling for it.
Oh, they're
And-
gonna have big
you gonna
announcements.
join
and-
me?
Happening.
I'm gonna
It's
skip it. We're gonna play.
Join me this year?
Me and T will play some
Oh, no, man.
game online or something.
I heard from
I
So
want,
someone.
Rocket
people
League.
to, I want people to remember this because Juice is notoriously known for lying about shit, and he doesn't know he's lying about it in the moment. He's
Skip the
fine.
button, flip flop.
Me and T are gonna play some Rocket League that night.
I heard a rumor that there's gonna be next.
It's gonna be what?
I had to pull that one out.
I can't
from
hear
6
you
years
over
ago.
Terrell.
Damn, was that long? Goddamn.
What'd you say, Robert?
I heard someone say that Jeff Keighley said to someone else that Metroid Prime is gonna be there this year, man. Gotta watch
fucking
it.
Christ.
Gotta watch
A lot of shit.
I'm not even worried about
He
Metroid
sucked a lot of
Prime.
dick, too, but we don't talk about that.
I'm not
You know
gonna
what?
fall for Retro's game. Gonna be at E3.
If Metroid Prime does show up, you know what? I can still see that in a little clip, and I had to spend my 3 hours wasting.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's gonna bring like this Death Stranding retrospective, for 3 hours long. Like I ain't watching that shit.
I'll catch a separate video clip of that shit.
Know what's gonna be nominated for Game of the Year next year?
You know what I mean? Like, what can he do? He can't. For the past few years, they had Death Stranding, some type of Kojima. This year, there's nothing.
They'll have
He's gonna have
DLC or something for it,
Gonna try to force him in somehow.
or he'll tease his new game.
They're
And
gonna
it'll just...
listen. In the DLC, they're gonna give you 2 babies.
No, they're gonna have a teaser. It's gonna be Norman Reedus and somebody else.
They're gonna give you a ladder with wheels on it.
Because they have his Norman Reedus full body scan. They could just quickly put him in a CGI thing, and have a new teaser.
Then that's how they're gonna make out. Is they're gonna put it in the game.
This is some weird. All right,
You guys, you can't take for granted what you have. One of my students told me that he just got a Switch. He was very excited about that. But then I asked him what games he had. He said, "I got Brawlhalla and Fortnite." I'm like, God damn. So
Might as well get Paladins and Warframe while you're at it.
he said he had Paladins too. Oh, my bad. He did say he had Paladins.
So he got all the
So-
free shit. He got all the free shit.
Yeah. And I was like, well, at least you got a Switch. And
Yeah, at least-
that's how that struggle was though when you were.
at least you had the opportunity to get.
Well, yeah, I get that because
And,
now it's like I realized the difference between when I was younger. I had to pick and choose what I'd be able to.
Yeah, if
get,
I had free game options back then, that's probably I would have played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Free to
like,
play,
'cause
I
that's the thing. You have like basically full games out there free, and in the past you had to fucking wait for Christmas to get a new game.
Yeah, I would love Fortnite if I was that kid. So.
Oh well, that's what these younglings would be playing.
Enjoy
thousands
playing
of hours.
against those cell phone players
I like,
there.
I like how Robert talks like he's old now.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
I haven't played Fortnite since
Robert,
they.
those days for you was like 5 or 6 years ago.
I know it's a weird deal. I don't know. It feels weird saying that, but hey, man, I've been here
Robert's
since.
college age now.
I've been here since
mid
16.
college.
Yeah, so crazy.
And
I've been here since June, dude. 16, crazy.
I thought you were 17 when you started.
16.
Yeah, but I say you've seen Robert get drunk randomly,
Call the
talking about his
police.
party nights and shit.
I can't believe we've been on that. Like, I started with the first year of the Wii U. I mean, right after launch, I did my first like real video with the Miiverse. I mean, that's
I have a question, Juice. Were you in
8
your
years.
30s still when you started
yeah.
doing videos? Damn, time flies.
I mean, I could have been 4 years or 2 years ago. I'd have been in my 30s if I, you phrase it that way.
Grandpa.
But no, I was in my early 30s.
Damn, this is crazy. Yo,
Don't
time
say damn like you bummed out about it and shit.
flies by, yo. One day,
2012, man.
It's gonna happen.
2012.
Getting
Yeah,
old is sad.
I'm like, am I the only one that thinks this Miiverse is awesome? I got to make a video on this. Like, I just out of the blue, I had to. I was like, this thing is so fucking cool. Look at what I can do. Look at these people posting shit in my Mario game on the level.
Were you there the last day?
No,
The
just
last
watching
hour
you.
of Miiverse?
Yeah.
Dick pics and all kind of.
Yeah.
Why is that the go-to? Why is it the default go-to?
It's been a go-to for like a decade.
I mean, come on, yo. It's just I don't know something about.
Actually, you know what we should ask Robert because you're the guy who likes to put dick in everything.
I mean, I've drawn dicks in the
sound right at
snow.
all.
Yeah.
I've drawn dicks in the
You put dick in
sand.
everything. But
Man, I misclocked it, man.
Anyway, we're gonna get out of here.
You act like he was dead, Retro.
oh man.
It was a good Microsoft podcast today.
Like, this
Good
man
talk.
said,
I'm so mad I wasn't able to post dick pics. I was fucking banned already.
Yeah.
I just kept cursing in the Xenoblade.
Bitch dick.
Xenoblade, like, all right, you motherfuckers, let's get
Robert's the reason we don't have Miiverse anymore.
Yep, it is all
Fucker.
Robert's fault.
Well, I had no clue that was going to Xenoblade, bro.
Now we got cloud
Yo.
saves.
He's just sitting there.
I'm not gonna pay for these moderators anymore to clean up dick pics. People saying bitch dick. We're gonna shut this shit down.
All right, so we're gonna get out of here. This was one of the better podcasts we've had in a while. This was fun. So
my chest hurts.
appreciate for everybody. Put some more questions in. We'll get some next week. We'll talk about Smash fans' reactions and anything else that pops up. And yeah, I think actually, if we had a direct, that'd be cool. But I think we could wait. I think we need another week before we actually would need one, because we didn't even talk about all the game delays. We got a lot of stuff to talk about next couple weeks. So
come on, man! People are excited about Cyberpunk coming out in 6 months, 8 months,
7. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, because it comes out in September.
Might as well wait. You can buy it day one, and then a month later finish it on the Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
But all right, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.